What up, everybody? Good morning and a happy Tuesday to you all. The DK Show coming to you from the TDS Sports Talk Studios this morning. Thanks for making us a part. If you make us part of your start, if you are already up and at it, whether you are listening on the radio dials, got a couple of those, 105.1 FM, 790 AM, available to stream up online at sportstalk1051.com. You got your smart speakers, smart devices, like your Alexa devices, the app, download it, take it on the go, and, of course, the video stream up and rolling here on YouTube. What do we have on our game plan this morning? It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday, so what the heck is grinding your gears? Now is the time. Let us know. Hit us up, 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line. You can join in on the Section 105 chat as well. So what the heck is grinding your gears here this morning? We'll talk some Brewers as late night last night, but the Brew Crew falling to the Giants 3-0. Bats were quiet for the Brewers, just 3 hits by the Brew Crew. Sproat picking up the loss. He did go 6 innings, 6-hit ball. But a little, again, something we've talked quite a bit about when it comes to Brandon Sproat. Little inconsistent, little erratic, but at least giving the ball club 6 innings, and then Stallings coming in to wrap it up with 2 innings of work. So at least, and Sproat's pitch count was getting up there early on in the game too. So, but nonetheless, kind of another up and down type of game for Brandon Sproat. The Brewers will try to get back into the win column tonight with Logan Henderson on the mound. First pitch, again, going to be at 8:45 for the Brew Crew. So we'll recap last night's game and take a look ahead to tonight's game, Game 2, and then keep you posted on some of the latest rumors, rumblings with the MLB trade deadline coming your way now. We could say officially less than a week away. But there's still more thoughts, more insiders, Major League Baseball insiders out there that believe from what they're hearing that the Brewers are going to be aggressive, that the Brewers are going to be buyers. Are you buying into that? Or do you think the Brewers are kind of an easy target, an easy team for opponents to throw out there to maybe draw up the price tag for some potential players? Maybe trying to draw up the price tag of one Dodgers, Cubs, or Phillies, these teams. This is something I was thinking about late last night. With more reports and rumblings and rumors saying that the Brewers are going to be aggressive at the deadline. Part of me, and maybe this is just me trying to just not set myself up for a little bit of disappointment, but part of me is wondering, is that a narrative that is being thrown out there by potential teams? So it gets teams like the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Phillies, teams who have historically or are not afraid to be aggressive by the trade deadline, bigger spenders, to maybe up the ante a little bit for those guys. Because, if you think about it, if it's being thrown out there that, hey, Brewers this year, they're going to be aggressive. Better watch out. You want this guy? Brewers are actually going to be players this year. You're going to have to up the offer. It's an interesting strategy. Again, this is just pure speculation from my point of view. But would it surprise you? It wouldn't surprise me. So I'm really curious to see just how aggressive the Brewers will be by the trade deadline, if, in fact, they are aggressive at all. It remains to be seen. And a lot of it is going to depend on still how many teams view them, or how many teams are going to stand pat, or how many teams are going to be sellers. Still maybe a little murky in those waters. So So we'll talk plenty of baseball here this morning. Speaking of baseball, the Express, good day for them yesterday, picking up both wins against Thunder Bay. So the Express, if it's been a hot minute since they've been at Carson Park, well, it's because it has been a hot minute since they've been back at Carson Park. So it's been, since Rochester last Sunday, not this previous Sunday, but the Sunday before. So yeah, it's been a hot minute. They'll be back at Carson Park for a long stretch of games here starting tonight. So 2 games against Thunder Bay, then a couple games against Rochester. So the Express still looking to wrap up this regular season on a hot note and secure that second half championship. Maybe ride into the postseason with a lot of momentum. So the Express, good day yesterday, and it'll be good to see them back at Carson Park tonight. Don't forget, we got a tailgate Thursday coming your way this Thursday for Thursday's game against Rochester. We'll throw in a little football as we are just a day away from our first Packers training camp practice. Yesterday was shareholders meeting. Also, some players getting put on the PUP list. That includes players like Tucker Kraft, which is no surprise. Luke Musgrave on there. So, I mean, tight end's already thin for Green Bay. Aaron Banks was put on there. Devon Hargrave was put on there. Now, these could be short-term. We've seen this before. Maybe it's just a day. Maybe it's just 2. It sounds like, and initially when the list came out, it's like, hey, where's Micah Parsons? But he's expected to be put on the list today. So, but yeah, the whole Aaron Banks one, not a great start. Now, again, don't want to overreact. It could be a very short-term one, but still, come on, man. Just come on, man. What are we doing here? What are we doing? Long season, we're a month and a half yet till September when the season gets going here. So, but we'll throw a little football chat in here as we get set for training camp. First practice tomorrow. It was shareholders meeting yesterday, so we'll go through maybe some of the comments from Ed Policy and all that fun jazz. So we got RJ Cardinal joining us in the 8 o'clock hour. We got Big Ten Media Days, and we've got some Badger stuff to catch up on. So RJ will join us in the 8 o'clock hour to hash all of that out. So got that on the docket and whatever the heck else you want to talk about here this morning. All right. I want you all to join in on the conversation. So got a question, got a topic idea, got a thoughts, grind my gears, send them on over. All right. Send them on over. So that's your game plan. Let's take our first break, and then we'll get things rocking and rolling here with the leadoff. We'll talk some Brewers, recapping last night's loss. It was, if you stayed up for the game, not a lot of action, at least from the Brewers' offensive side of things. Brandon Sproat, a little inconsistent. Does the inconsistency from maybe Brandon Sproat or maybe a little bit of a Shane Rowan increase the urge, increase the need for the Brew Crew to go out there and maybe acquire another starter before the deadline? And then we'll get you up to date on some of the latest rumors and rumblings surrounding the Brewers as the trade deadline now officially less than a week away. So lots to get to. Let's pitter-patter. Let's get at her. We'll take our first break, and then the leadoff coming up after these quick words. Hey, if you don't have lunch plans or maybe you forgot your lunch at work, head on over to Hy-Vee in Eau Claire because today only, starting at 11 a.m., Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. Get this. They're celebrating America's 250th by giving away 250 free tenderloin pork sandwiches. How about that? Free tenderloin sandwiches from 11 a.m. in-store only while supplies last. If you haven't had one of those are not too shabby. I've had quite my share definitely over the last few years. But you got nothing planned for lunch, or maybe you forgot it. Hey, go grab yourself a free tenderloin sandwich from Hy-Vee. 250 of them while supplies last. And if you haven't checked out the latest and greatest deals going on this week at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, I mean, we're talking about buy 5, get 5 free Gatorade sports drinks. If you got ball tournaments, ball practice, or games, and you need the kiddos to hydrate, there's a heck of a deal there. You got $3.99 Blue Ribbon Classics ice cream gallon or novelties. $3.99 for a gallon of ice cream. Heck yeah, man. So you can, again, check out the entire flyer for this week at Hy-Vee's Facebook page. Just look them up at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire. I mean, we're talking about $2.99 Doritos or 3 for $9 Jack's Pizzas, too. So a lot of great deals, as always. And don't forget, when you shop at Hy-Vee in Eau Claire, get the perks. You can save at the gas pump, too. So it's a 2 for 1. 2 for 1. All right, let's get things going here this morning. Let's open it up on the leadoff, chatting some Brew Crew. Kind of a quiet night last night for the Brew Crew, offensively at least. Just 3 total hits. Just 3 total hits here for the Brewers. And a 3-0 loss. Brandon Sproat's final line in the game: 6 innings, 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 3 walks, 5 Ks, 1 home run given up. Pitch count: Sproat, 97 pitches. Was up there in the first couple innings and maybe was looking to shape up to be a shorter start for Brandon Sproat, but was able to give the crew 6 innings, and then Stallings comes in for the last 2 to not have to use the bullpen last night and give the majority of the guys the night off. But kind of some inconsistency again from Brandon Sproat last night, a little up and down. And before the game last night, Pat Murphy kind of called Sproat a, quote, young thoroughbred. He's got the talent. We've seen him, right? He's got the talent. He's got the ability. Maybe it's just experience yet. Needs a little bit more seasoning. And I don't want to use the word erratic. I think that's a little too dramatic, but it's not all quite clicking. And I kind of chalk that up again just to experience, to his youth. Because there's still plenty of ability there, flashes there, right? He's showcased that in many of his starts this year. And Pat Murphy, after the game, said there's positives in there. What he did, giving us 6 innings, but again, he didn't hold runners great. That hurt us a little bit. Or it could have hurt us, and then the homer, but to give us 6 innings and keep us close in the game, there's positives in there. Sproat, when he said, when Murphy was talking about holding runners there, Sproat did pick up a league-leading 5th and 6th pickoffs, but he also allowed 3 stolen bases, marking Milwaukee's first game this season allowing more than 2 stolen bases. So, Sproat after the game saying, if I had to change one thing, it'd really just to be cut down on the walks. Other than that, I thought it was a solid outing. I was able to finish 6. It's been a while to really help the bullpen out. It feels good to be able to do that. Pat Murphy saying it might take some time for Sproat to fully harness his abilities on the mound and be the pitcher that the team believes he can be. Said he's got to be ahead in the count. It sounds so easy to do, but he knows that's what he needs to do. When he's ahead in the count, he's much more effective He's just not consistent with his pitches. There's ball 1, ball 2, ball 3. You saw it tonight. I don't know how many times, but you saw it 3 or 4 times. And this is where I kind of throw out the question, okay, Sproat, a little up and down, maybe a little inconsistent. The talent is there, but does this make it maybe a little bit more important for the Brewers to maybe address that starting pitcher by the trade deadline? Because I'll throw out the question, can you go into the postseason with Brandon Sproat a part of your rotation and feel good about it and feel confident about it? He might give you that great outing. We've seen it a couple times this year. Or it might be, and it's not like, I don't want to put all the blame on him last night, and that's not what I want to try to do here, because the offense, I mean, you only get 3 hits and you give him 0 run support. Come on now. So the loss is not squarely on Brandon Sproat, and I don't want to try to come off that way. He was not the reason. He was not the main reason why the Brewers lost last night. But it was just another example last night from Sproat where you could see the little bit of the ups and downs and the inconsistencies and racking up the pitch counts and walks and allowing those stolen bases. So, I mean, there's stuff to clean up. There's positives there, like they said, but there is definitely stuff to clean up. It's just the question is, would you feel comfortable? Would you feel confident if you got into a postseason game and Brandon Sproat's your starter? That's the question that the Brewers have to ask themselves. The talent is there, but is he going to be better utilized similar to how Chad Patrick and Mizorowski were utilized last year, maybe coming out of the pen, giving you a couple of innings? So does it make it a little bit more important for the Brewers to maybe target a veteran starting pitcher by the trade deadline next Monday? Because then you go into the postseason maybe with a little bit more experience. And that's not to say to necessarily get a veteran that's going to get you 7 innings. Maybe it's just a veteran and, hey, all right, hey, give us a few innings in the postseason, and then you go to a guy like a Sproat. I mean, this is obviously a guy that could give you some length. Same with Shane Drone. But maybe just to have that versatility, maybe to have that experience. Whether it's, gosh darn it, bringing back a Freddie Peralta. Freddie, yeah, he's not going to give you length, but I'm just throwing Freddie as an example. Say you start a postseason game with Freddie. He goes 4 innings. Okay, then you go Sproat for a couple. Is that the worst idea in the world? So that's the one thing. When I look at this starting staff, it is very inexperienced. There's not a ton of playoff experience. Especially when you look at it now, playoff starting experience. Heck, Aaron Ashby might have more playoff starts on this roster when you think about it. Miz, bullpen. Kyle Harrison, Logan Henderson, Robert Gasser, Brandon Sproat, Shane Drone. Playoff baseball is a little bit of a different animal. Like I've got confidence when the Miz, if it's game 1 in the postseason, he gets a start. But after that, you do have to wonder, does the youth, does the inexperience come into play a little bit? And is that what makes this upcoming trade deadline more important for the Brewers to maybe go out there and get that veteran that can give them a little bit more experience? I think it's worth exploring if I'm Matt Arnold. It's at least worth exploring. It doesn't necessarily mean it's got to be a Tarek Skubal, but maybe just a veteran who has some experience in starting games in the postseason. And it was interesting. I missed this the other day, but apparently, and I'd struggle to see the Brewers actually do this. But apparently there are teams calling the Brewers about Shane Drone, Logan Henderson, and Sproat. Now, if you're, let's say, okay, Skubal. Let's say the Brewers are legitimately interested in Taylor Skubal. Would they be willing to trade one of those three younger, controllable arms for a rental? They got some depth. There's no question. They've got options. But would they be willing to do that for this year? Would you? Let me throw this back out to you, Brewers fans. Let's say, and I don't think it's going to be a 1-for-1, but let's say the package, if the Brewers had a chance to land Skubal, and I know there's stuff out there saying the Dodgers have a very, very, very good package out there. But let's say the Brewers had to throw in either Shane Drone, Logan Henderson, or Brandon Sproat. I'm not going to ask you to pick one of those guys, but say they had to at least include one of those guys amongst other prospects for a rental for Skubal. Would you do it? Knowing, okay, it's just one of those three, we're still good in the depth department. We still got the Miz. We still got Harrison. Quinn Priester hopefully comes back next year. Or do you like, no, I don't want to give up a controllable arm. What would you do? Let's take a quick break. Preview game 2 tonight. One of those young controllable arms, Logan Henderson, looking to improve to 4-1 on the season. We'll preview game 2 of this series coming up after these quick words. We just need one more team for the 10 a.m. tee time for the 6th annual Kasper Classic coming up on Friday, August 7th. One more, and then 10 a.m., 1 p.m., sold out. We'll still have 7:30 up. We've already had a record number of 7:30 a.m. tee times purchased this year. So big thanks to all of you who have signed up to get your two-person team in for the upcoming 6th annual Kasper Classic, which is next Friday. So if you want that final 10 a.m. tee time, final 10 a.m. spot, you got to head over to our website, sportstalk1051.com, and you'll see the icon, the logo there. Just click on that. Boom. For just $90, it includes your two-person team that has 9 holes, carts, meal, couple beverage tickets, get swag bags, all that good stuff. So hurry up inside. So I would love, by the time we're done here this morning at 10 a.m., to say we are bada bing, bada boom, sold out. Big thanks to Window World, presenting sponsors, Window World, our other partners, Muldoon's, Service Master, Park Ridge Distributing, Hy-Vee and Eau Claire, Edward Jones Financial Advisor, Kelsey, Nikolai, Dodge, Cambridge, Myron Construction, VFW Post 305, Superior Auto Body, Home Oasis, Residence Branding Company, Claflin Construction, Carpet City Flooring Center, and Economy Furniture. So, yes, Surveyor, you did hear a record for the 7th. So it won't just be you and another one. I think, I have it on my desk, but I think we'll almost have a team per hole. So, yeah, should be a good one. And we'll keep that one opened up for a couple more days. So if you want to get in on the 7:30 Surveyor Sam flights, better get over there too. All right, join in on the fun with Surveyor and Nate. One-time champions, Surveyor and Nate's in the 7:30 flight. I believe Philly fan Dave Surveyors in the 7:30 flight. So, but looking forward to it already next week, next Friday. Just a note, we won't have a program next Friday because this year I'm going to do my part, and we've had some help setting it up and all that. But since we tee off at 10, program goes to 10, I'm going to do my part and help set up everything and set up some raffle prizes. If you still are interested in donating a raffle prize, because 100% of the proceeds go to help fund Backyard Dreams, please reach out. We definitely would welcome that. Also, since I have a little bit of your attention, I am taking signups for our 715 Fantasy Football League. The thing is that I need to have an idea of how many people are going to participate so I can figure out how many leagues to set up. So if you go to the Sports Talk Facebook page or the Twitter page, we posted up a link on there where you just got to type in your email. And I'm just collecting email addresses so I can figure out how many leagues to get and send you the invites to those leagues. So if you want to join one of our 715 fantasy football leagues this year, go to the Sports Talk Facebook page. You'll see the link up there, or on the Twitter page, or tell you what, if you text just fantasy football to that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, I may not send you the link right away, but I'll send you the link. I'll help you out. Okay? Can do that too. All right, so Brewers, game 2 tonight. We got Logan Henderson on the mound for the Brew Crew. Logan Henderson, so far this year, obviously he's missed a little bit of time with injury, but he's back at her, right? And he's 4-1. Did I say 3-1 earlier? I meant 4-1. 4-1, so he's looking for his 5th win on the season. 4-1 with a 3.05 ERA. His last outing against the Mets, he picked up a win where he went 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 9 strikeouts, no walks. And his 3 games since coming off the injured list, go back to the 17th against Miami, a no decision, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 earned run, 4 strikeouts. The 9th against the Cardinals, he picked up another win, 5 1/3, 3 hits, 3 earned runs, 4 strikeouts, just 1 walk. He's looked sharp since coming back off the injured list. So, can he continue to do that? Can he continue to look impressive? Because I think it's fair to say when you look at the starters right now on this Brewers staff, Henderson's probably the third guy. You know, when Kyle Harrison, right now he might be two, but when Kyle Harrison comes back, and if Kyle Harrison kind of picks up where he left off or shows what he was doing the first couple months of the season, Harrison's the two. Obviously, Miz is the one. But right now, Henderson's probably the three. And I don't know, and maybe I'm looking at this with some rose-colored glasses here too, or some beer goggles on. But when you think about it, what did we talk about last year with the Dodgers quite a bit when they got to the postseason? Like some of their pitchers, they got back a little bit before the postseason, or like a month or so before the postseason. They're so fresh. They're ready to go. Brewers continue to stack up wins. Harrison is not back yet. Henderson has just pitched 8 games so far this year. Maybe a little bit in their cards too. Hope maybe this is going to work out for the crew, where some of their pitchers are going to be fairly fresh and healthy when it gets to the postseason. Just saying, just looking at that, just looking at that. So again, could just be straight up rose-colored glasses here. But really, when you take away Logan Henderson's first game this year, which was a 2-inning start against Kansas City on the 4th. And you just look at his 7 games, his last 7 games, take away that short start, his ERA is actually a 2.72. So, I mean, just maybe kind of quietly having a very solid season. Outside that first start, he has gone at least 5 innings in every single game. But that's kind of what you kind of know what you're going to get from Logan Henderson. One time he's gone 6 innings. One time he's gone 5 1/3. Every other time, 5 innings. You want to talk about consistency in terms of that? There you go. He has only given up more than 3 earned runs once so far this season, and that was that July 9th game when he came back from the injured list. So we'll see if he can continue to build upon what he has done so far in the month of July since coming off the injured list. On the flip side, you've got Landon Rope going for the San Francisco Giants. In 20 games that started this year, he is 7-8 with a 3.93 ERA. What has he done lately here? Well, so far in the month of July, he's pitched pretty darn well for the Giants. He is 2-0 in 3 games with a 1.29 ERA. And this is coming off of a very bad June, where in 6 games, he's 0-3 with a 7.14 ERA. 2 games in the month of June, he allowed 8 earned runs and 6 earned runs. So far in July, though, just 1 earned run on that July 6th game against Toronto in 8 innings. 7 innings on the 17th against Seattle, no earned runs, and then 2 in his latest game against Kansas City on the 22nd, where he went 6 innings. So he is obviously pitching a whole lot better in the month of July than what he was doing in June. And even in May, he was 0 for 4 with a 4.38 ERA in 5 games started. April, he started off 4-1 and then dropped the next 4. He was on 7 games. He started off 4-1. Then he lost 7. Now he's back up there with a couple more wins to improve to 7-8 on the season. So, I think the biggest question for me for tonight's game is the Brewers offense going to show up? Are they going to be able to put more than 3 hits up on the board and manufacture some runs and give Logan Henderson some run support? Is the offense going to be there? That's the biggest question. I'm fairly confident that Logan Henderson's going to do his thing. Biggest question for me, or the biggest concern for me heading into tonight's game, is going to be the offense. Can they do it? Can they give some run support? Can they get the thing going? Put up a crooked number right away. All right, let's take a quick break. I know we got a few texts to get to here and some messages, so we'll do that as we start to wrap up the first hour. Plus, latest and greatest in the trade rumor world for the Brewers. What's the latest rumblings? What's the latest rumors? Send those on. We'll keep it posted on that too as we wrap up the first hour. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. If you're from Wisconsin, you know there is something special about this time of year. Days are getting a little bit shorter. The evenings may be starting to cool off, and before you know it, hunting season will be here. That means now is the time to get your gear ready. Whether you need a new firearm, ammunition, optics, or just to come in and get some expert advice, make Tilden Gun your first step. The folks at Tilden Gun aren't just there to sell you equipment. They're hunters too. They know what works. They're happy to answer your questions, and they'll help make sure that you are ready long before opening morning arrives. So don't wait until the last minute. Stop by Tilden Gun, get geared up, and start counting down the days to another great Wisconsin fall. Tilden Gun, helping Wisconsin hunters make the most of every season. Happy hunting, and be safe and enjoy the great outdoors. We got a few minutes left here, so might say, actually, I'll save some of the text for just the top of the hour. But if you go to MLB.com, and they did a little Q&A with Mark Feinsad, and one of the questions was, are the Brewers really going to be aggressive? I've been hearing that, but it doesn't seem to fit their overall strategy. Feinsad said, everything I have heard backs up the idea of the Brewers being aggressive, and frankly, they should be. Milwaukee has been a marvel for a number of years, repeatedly reaching the postseason despite a payroll that doesn't compare to the NL's big spenders. But the Brewers still haven't been able to get over that hump to get to the World Series, so an aggressive deadline could put them in position to finally topple the Dodgers or whoever else gets in their way. President of Baseball Operations Matt Arnold has been working the phones and has checked in on the likes of Skubal and Mason Miller. But players like that need to be made available for him to act. With so few sellers at the moment, the options aren't nearly that exciting. I think we'll see more clarity in action the closer we get to next Monday. But with a deep farm system and the incentive to make moves, I think the Brewers will do whatever they can to bolster their roster by August 3rd. So that's another MLB insider that maybe feels the Brewers will be aggressive. But the tricky thing in this whole ordeal, or the biggest question in this thing, is going to be who is actually sellers. Brewers, let's say the Brewers do want to be buyers, and they are going to be aggressive by the deadline. Great. Or maybe you don't want them to. But for this instance, great. Now, who's actually going to be sellers? Will the Tigers be sellers? Will the Padres be sellers? Will the Nationals be sellers? That's the unknown here. How many sellers are there going to be? With 6 days to the trading deadline, it's still a little murky. But those teams that are hovering on that line, hovering about, are they going to be a wild card team or not? They're going to have to make decisions here. Deadlines spur actions. Do they want to move on from a piece? Do they want to move on from a player and kind of retool, rebuild, whatever R word we're going to use? Or are they going to stand pat and see if they can make a little bit of a run, get into the postseason, get in as a wild card, and see what happens? So if the Brewers are legitimately working the phones and trying to be aggressive, trying to be buyers, they got to find that team or a couple teams that are going to be willing to be sellers at this point. And I don't know how many teams have decided whether they're going to be or not. Because, again, you look at where things stand. Just in the wild card race, in the American League, Twins, 1 game back. Astros, 1.5 back. Seattle, Baltimore, 2. Baltimore's only 2 back now. Detroit's only 4 back. That's losing their last 3 here, too. Toronto's 5 back. National League, Diamonds in Pittsburgh, Arizona and Pittsburgh, they're tied for that final spot. Washington's just a game back. The Cardinals are 1.5 back. The Padres, okay, Mason Miller's getting thrown out there, but they're 1.5 back. Miami's 2 back. And that's after going on a 9-game losing streak. Cincinnati's 4.5 back. A lot of those teams that have desirable players that contending teams like the Brewers would probably want, it's still unknown whether they're going to be made available. So, all right, we'll get to some of your messages coming up just past the top of the hour because we got to wrap up the first hour saying good morning to Morgan. Good morning, Morgan.
How's it going, Kasper?
It's going okay.
Okay, we're going to talk about friends. Hot takes with friends. Do you have a best friend?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Can you say names?
I'll throw out Jake.
Jake? That's who I would have guessed. Okay. So Jake's your best friend. We're going to talk about friend hot takes. So for example, friend groups should have an official designated planner. If you look at your friend group. Is there somebody that is the go-to for the planning or that usually orchestrates all that kind of stuff?
I'll say, can we go to when college when we were kind of maybe hanging out more?
Yeah. Sure.
So,
not like old people friends where.
I'll raise my hand because I was that person.
Now, self-appointed because you're a control freak, or
self-appointed because everybody else is lazy and I don't trust them.
Oh, you make a great friend, calling everybody a name and undercutting their abilities in the same sentence.
They know it. That's the thing.
Okay. So then if you are the friend planner, do you get to pick where you go?
Yeah.
Are you the guy that says, no, we're going to meet here? We're going, you get to pick the place?
I'll leave it up for nominations.
Okay.
But yeah.
Group text, thumbs up or
I
thumbs
hate group texts.
Why?
They're so annoying.
Because you hate everything, or?
Well, no, it's just the randomness of just random topics or stupid stuff, and then it just won't stop, and it's like an avalanche or a snowball. It's like, no.
All right, let's pick at this scab. How many group texts do you have going right now in your life? Because I'm sure you have them for sports.
Two maybe, but one really big one, and it's kind of annoying. So,
do you mute it?
I've snoozed it.
Okay.
Yep.
So now, do you feel like if somebody puts something out in the group text, obligated to answer them?
No.
So you just sit there silent sometimes and creep on them?
I don't creep. I just ignore.
Okay. Fair enough. How about this for friendship dynamics? Borrowing money is worse than lending it.
Yes.
So you would rather lend than borrow money?
Yes.
Okay.
I'll buy a buddy a beer at the bar or something like that, but
yeah. What about a friend who leaves a party without saying goodbye? Is it necessary to say goodbye when you leave?
No.
You're going to do the slip out the door Irish goodbye thing?
I've done that many times, so.
Okay, who do you think right now is the best at being a friend? Because it takes work as you get older to have friends. Who do you think is because I have one person in my life who is really the shower-upper, will come to everything. And everyone knows, at a certain age, if you get a message, say, for example, in a group text that something's canceled, there's a little bit of you that's yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I love when plans get canceled, right? Nobody wants to admit it, but there's a secret relief sometimes.
Yep.
But not this. No, this girl, she will show up to things that are even adjacent to the main topic. She's always at stuff. Do you have somebody that's a shower-upper?
I don't think I do, to be honest with you.
Do you think it's an age thing?
I think it's very much an age thing.
Would you be a shower-upper if you had more free time?
Probably.
Would you?
Probably. I'd try to find excuses to get out of it.
Yeah, that sounds more accurate. Yeah. Okay, what about this? You can see a friend once a year and still call them a good friend.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because social media and contact makes you feel like you're staying in touch with people, whereas before summer vacation meant you literally didn't see your friends until you went back to school?
Yep, I would agree with that. Social media has ruined everything.
Put it in the group chat, Kasper.
Hate group chats. Hate group
Loud
chats.
and clear, apparently. Phone's blowing up.
Yeah, thanks, Morgs.
Anytime.
We'll be back after these news updates. All right, second hour kicks off right now. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start here on this Tuesday morning. It is a Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what is grinding your gears, peeps? Let us know. Get it off your chest, all right? Hit us up. If you got a sports version of Grind My Gears, I want to hear from you, all right? Make it appropriate, though, so I can say it on the air, okay? Just make it appropriate. We're going to talk a little green and gold coming up here as we get set for day one of training camp tomorrow. We got some players that are on the PUP list. Some not too surprising. Some a little eyebrow raising, maybe just a skosh. But so I want to hit that up, and I do want to throw a little Jordan Love conversation in here too, because if you have X/Twitter, Dan Orlovsky this morning had an interesting thought on Jordan Love, and it's something that we've talked a little bit about, but I want to throw it out there for all you listeners. So, number one, Jordan Love fan, club member, Surveyor Sam, if you're still listening, be curious to get your responses to this. So, let's catch up, though, on a few messages here. We've got Brandon G. Earlier had said, want to know your thoughts on the lineup the last couple weeks. I know trying to keep everyone in a rhythm, but Laura not in the lineup last night after his good weekend. I'm one for play them while they're hot, but they know more than we do, and Vaughn kind of gets that treatment too for guys who's been hitting pretty well. Just want to know thoughts. I think what it boils down to, I trust Pat Murphy. Whatever Pat Murphy, more times than not, it's worked out. Does it work out every time? No, but not every coach, not every manager. Their decisions, it doesn't work out every single time. They are put to a very high standard. But I trust Pat Murphy and the pulse that he has and how he's been managing these lineups. It's a tough call, especially when Sal Frelick comes back. Yeah, the fact that Bowers has been hitting, you got to keep him in the lineup. Vaughn has been hitting. You got to keep him in the lineup. Garrett Mitchell's been hitting. You got to keep him in the lineup. Laura's been hitting here as of late too. You got to keep him in the lineup. So I get it. It's a tough call. It's tough decisions. But I trust Pat Murphy at this point in time. Mark, or first of all, Surveyor Sam did say, to your question, I have another question. Does someone like Sproat give you the confidence in the playoffs to win? He is so sporadic, I don't even know if he makes the playoff roster right now. If you can package him with a couple of minor league pitchers for Skubal, then I'm all for it. But if the Tigers want Henderson plus more pieces, that is a little too steep for me. I think if it's between like Shane Drowan, Logan Henderson, and Brandon Sproat, which one would I feel, how do I put this? Which one would I feel better about giving up? It probably would be Sproat, although I feel maybe, yeah, probably. I don't want to see Logan Henderson go. Then it's between Shane Drowan and Brandon Sproat. It's close, but I think slight advantage to Shane Drowan at this point in time. Mark says here, not surprising, the Brewers were flat last night, play Sunday, hop on a plane to the West Coast, and then play a game on Monday at an odd time for them. Most teams likely go through this in their schedule. It was our turn. Not only that, and Pat Murphy wasn't using it as an excuse last night, but apparently the Brewers were sitting on the runway for 5 hours before leaving Milwaukee because some plane issues. So not only that, going to the West Coast, their timing was off. Sitting on the tarmac, sitting on the runway before being able to head over there. So maybe that has a little bit to do with it. Joe on the video stream says, grinding my gears, Brewers pitchers not getting no run support. Bo says, what's grinding my gears is this darn humidity. All right, keep those coming. Hit us up, 715-830-1912. If you want, just again, a reminder, this is my goal in the next 3 hours. We've got one more spot in the Kasper Classic up for grabs. 10 a.m. tee time. One more spot. Let's see if we can get this done by 9. You want to get that time. You want to get that spot. Head to our website and reserve it. SportsTalk1051.com. We got one left at 10 a.m. 1 p.m. sold out. One left for the 10 a.m. Get it. It's next Friday, Lake Alley. All right, it's coming up, man. It's coming up. Are you interested in playing in one of our fantasy football leagues? Head to our Facebook page or Twitter page. You'll see the link. I got to get an idea of how many of you want to play so I know how many leagues to set up. Right now, we're on 2 leagues. Got enough signups for 2, but I would say we're probably trending to at least 3. So if you want to get in on that, go to our website. Or I know a couple of you have asked for it. I'll get to it here when I got a little time. If you want the link to sign up for your email, just hit me up with a text, just with the 2 words, fantasy football. Okay? That way I can sort it and go through it a little bit easier. But, well, we'll get to that. Surveyor, huh? You haven't seen you sign up yet. C-Bomb? I don't even know. C-Bomb been pretty quiet. Where the heck is C-Bomb in these last couple of days here? So, we got football chat coming up this hour. So I want to get to that here. Just a quick outlook for the rest of the couple hours here. Didn't get a chance to yesterday, but Pete Knutson is going to join us past 8 o'clock. Chat some Eau Claire Express. The Express picking up 2 wins yesterday. They'll be back at Carson Park now, finally, after a long road stretch. They'll be back at Carson Park for a big home stretch to wrap up the rest of the regular season. The Express currently in first place in the second half, so we'll talk to Pete Knutson about that just under an hour from now. And then after Pete, we'll talk to RJ Cardinal, talk some Badgers, some Big Ten. It's Big Ten Media Days as we inch closer and closer to kickoff for the Badger football season. So we'll catch up with Mr. RJ Cardinal. And then at 10 a.m., at 10 a.m., new episode of the Man Cave podcast drops. And had a chance yesterday to sit down and chat with the new Eau Claire North men's basketball coach, Coach Mike Cooper. So I'll play a little bit of a clip in that in the 9 o'clock hour, a little bit of a tease, but that episode will drop on YouTube. The video will drop on YouTube at 10 a.m. and the podcast, the audio version, will drop at 10 a.m. on Apple and Spotify. So make sure you're following and subscribing to that so you can check out that full conversation. So you get to know the new basketball coach in the area. But I'll tell you what, let's regroup here. We'll take our quick break and let's talk some football. Let me throw this question out there for you to get a chance to chime in on this. It's something that we have dabbled on, even going back to last year. We've touched on it a little bit. But with training camp practice starting, let's revisit this because this kind of got inspired from a tweet that I saw from Dan Orlovsky this morning. Okay, and maybe it fits a particular narrative for many people out there, but Dan Orlovsky said the 2025 Packers generated the 3rd most EPA on dropbacks, behind only the Patriots and the Rams. Again, what is EPA? Expected points added. That is a key advanced metric that measures the value of individual plays by calculating how much a team increases or decreases their net scoring likelihood. So, again, the Packers had generated the 3rd most EPA on dropbacks. But they registered the 4th fewest dropbacks in the NFL. What does this all mean? It means when Jordan Love dropping back to pass, the EPA was pretty darn high. Like their chances to scoring was pretty darn high, but they only dropped back 551 times, which was the 4th fewest. To which Orlovsky asks, is this going to be the year that the Packers let Jordan Love play without training wheels? If not now, when? I think that is a very legit question. So let's discuss it. All right. What are your thoughts? Do you think that Green Bay, Matt LaFleur, Packers have maybe handcuffed Love a little bit and they need to let him cook? Or do you feel, nah, run? What's your thoughts? I want to hear from you. So throwing that question out, we'll get your reaction, get your thoughts. Coming up after we take this quick break. Nobody plans for an accident, but when the unexpected happens, you want a team that you can trust. Oh, just got sidetracked there. At Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, they're proud to be locally owned and operated, providing quality collision repair and hometown service to drivers throughout the Chippewa Valley. Their experienced team takes pride in every repair, treating your vehicle with the same care and attention that they would give their own. When you need collision repair that you can count on, choose the people who live and work right here in your community. Superior Auto Body in Eau Claire, locally owned, locally trusted, and here to get you back on the road. All right, so first of all, guys, don't text me your emails. That doesn't help right now. Just text me the 2 words. It's this simple. Fantasy football. If you want to be in our fantasy football league, just text me that. Then I will text you back eventually the link where you enter your emails, okay? Let's not make this any harder. Just text me simply, fantasy football. Why that? Then I can sort it so I don't miss any of your texts. So fantasy football. Just text in fantasy football. That way I can sort them, okay? It's that simple. Anything else? I'm probably going to miss your text. Just text the word fantasy football, or make it really easy. Go to the Sports Talk Facebook page or the Twitter page, and you'll see a post on there where all you do is just click the link and enter your email. There you have it. So that's simple. That's all. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. Okay. Surveyor says, who is saying Love has training wheels? You paid for a top-tier running back, and you're not going to use him. LaFleur loves to run the ball, and he's not going to abandon that. I don't want to see Love throwing 40 to 50 times a game. I want to see a balanced attack where the run is setting up the pass and vice versa. If Love has to throw the ball 40 times a game, that means we are stinking on defense, and the offense has to keep the pace. And I don't think LaFleur's offense is made for that. So, again, this is a tweet by Dan Orlovsky, their surveyor. Pay attention, surveyor. But he had tweeted a little bit earlier saying, the 2025 Packers generated the 3rd most EPA, expected points added. On dropbacks behind only the Patriots and the Rams, despite registering the 4th fewest dropbacks in the NFL. Is this going to be the year that the Packers let Jordan Love play without training wheels? If not now, when? Now, this could go a few different ways. In my opinion, this could go a few different ways. Kind of like Orlovsky or a lot of fans saying, let's run to set up let's pass to set up the run. We've heard that analogy before. Or is it, you run to set up the pass? Has there been times where maybe, and I think this was a criticism last year from some fans, that they would have liked to have seen Matt LaFleur, the Packers, maybe put the ball in the hands of one Jordan Love a little bit more, maybe during crunch time, go win the ball game. But I get it, though, too. You got Josh Jacobs, who was coming off that 2024 season. I mean, spectacular year. Maybe you're like, and I think any other coach would have said, okay, look at what Josh Jacobs did. Let's ride that. This is our guy. This is our bell cow. He is what makes everything else cook and get going. Here's the thing, though, too, where I would say the drop back thing maybe doesn't tell the whole story. The 4th fewest dropbacks. It maybe doesn't tell the whole story. We have to remember there was a big chunk in the first half of the season, no Christian Watson. And then Tucker Kraft went out with his injury. And then remember, too, Jaden Reed missed time. So, I mean, you're talking about perhaps your top 3 playmakers from a passing standpoint that missed a boatload of time last year. I think that does factor into, I I think that does factor into some of maybe the amount of dropbacks or the few amount of dropbacks, low amount of dropbacks. There we go. But I also think it's fair to say, in my opinion, that, okay, does there need to be a little bit more on Jordan Love? To use a Mike McCarthy phrase, when Packers won Super Bowl 45, gave Aaron Rodgers the keys to the offense. I think there's a little bit more to it than just saying Jordan Love's got to throw the ball more. Because I agree with you, Cervera. I don't want to get into a habit where we got to throw the ball 50, 55 times, 60 times, whatever that number is. I don't think it should be or has to be something where we just got to throw the ball all over the place. But I also think it's fair. Okay, maybe we need to maybe balance it out just a skosh more, just a little bit more. So, I mean, I can make cases for each side, to be honest with you. But I think the caveat to this whole thing also is if we have an offensive line this year, because there's so many other factors in this thing. If this offensive line is going to stink at pass protection, then you're going to try to run the football a little bit more, and you're going to try to slow down the pass rush and try to set up passing plays that way. If the offensive line is going to stink at run blocking, but they're going to be good at passing, okay, that could affect numbers. There's so many different things that can skew these numbers that go into this thing. So is there training wheels on Jordan Love? Is he handcuffed? Whatever phrase you want to go out there and use. To me, I think that might be a little bit dramatic. Now, does he have full clearance of the entire offense? Does he have full, do whatever you want, or the keys to the engine? Maybe a little bit debatable. But I think in my opinion, I think it's fair to say I want to see a little bit more on Jordan Love's shoulders. And that, again, I don't think that necessarily means, hey, go throw the ball 50 times. Go throw the ball 55, 60 times. Maybe just put a little bit more responsibility on your quarterback. And that doesn't mean to abandon the run. That doesn't mean to do this. That doesn't mean that, all this other stuff. I think it's fair to go out there and I think it's fair to go out there and maybe just ask a little bit more from your quarterback. I think so much is going to be predicated on this offensive line play. To me, that's where it's going to start. Are we going to get... I don't want adequate. I want good offensive line play. Adequate is just that's not going to get the job done. We need good offensive line play. If we're going to get that is going to set up a lot of different things within this offense. If we're going to have turntiles on the edges, if Jordan Morgan's going to struggle at left tackle. If Green Bay is going to allow pressure up the middle, if they're not going to be able to run block, this whole conversation is mute. It's pointless if we don't get solid offensive line play. And the thing is, when you look at this offensive line, and we've talked about it quite a bit, and I think a lot of fans, a lot of us would agree with the thought, like, okay, there's question marks practically almost every position. You can even say Zach Tom just because of injury. I think what's good, now we'll find out today for sure, but Zach Tom yesterday at least wasn't put on the PUP list. So maybe he is recovering well from that knee surgery. But that's still a question. But you look at the other starters, and it's like there's questions. Is Jordan Morgan the future left tackle? Can he win that spot, hold down that spot? Aaron Banks is on the PUP list. What the heck? And there's questions surrounding his play. Sean Ryan got a contract, but could a rookie Burton make a play for that spot? And then Sean Ryan slides back to guard. What about Anthony Belton heading into his second year? So there's question marks, but the Packers have invested a lot in these guys. They really believe in these guys. But I think a lot of us kind of have some uncertainty about it because we haven't maybe seen it play out on a consistent basis. And I think part of it is we have seen some great offensive lines for the Packers over the years. I mean, I don't know, and I know this is like 12 years ago now already, but I mean, I don't know if anything's going to touch the offensive line like we had in 2014 where you had Bakhtiari, Brian Bulaga as your left and right tackles, Josh Sitton, TJ Lang, and Corey Linsley as your center. I mean, that's a great offensive line. It's a fantastic offensive line. We have been spoiled with some great offensive linemen over the years. So the bar is incredibly high in Green Bay when it comes to these offensive line. Even if you're drafted day 3, 4th round, 5th round, you're an offensive lineman that gets drafted by Green Bay on day 3, you're going to have a chance to play early. The bar is high, but you're going to have a chance to play early. And looking at last year with the offensive line play, it wasn't up to standard. And I think this is a thing with all this conversation about does Jordan Love need to throw more? Does, the running game, is it still a run-first mentality? All this is mute if the offensive line can't play well enough. If we're not going to get solid play from the big guys up front in the trenches, then what are we doing? It's going to be a long season. Jordan Love's going to be running for his life. Josh Jacobs isn't going to find a whole lot of breathing room. It's going to be a long day. It starts there. If we get good offensive line play and we're healthy up there, now we could talk. And I think it's going to be, it would be a huge difference if, because you look at last year too, how many times did we have Watson, Reed, and Kraft all together on the field at the same time? So that's part of it too. If he's not going to have all of his playmakers on the field with him. And remember too, Josh Jacobs was a little bit banged up last year at certain points in time. So he wasn't necessarily 100%. But I think there's more to it. I get what Orlovsky is saying. I understand it. I think, okay, there's some points to it, but it doesn't tell the whole story. It doesn't tell the whole story. It doesn't factor in the poor offensive line play. It doesn't factor in dude was missing some guys. Missing some of his main guys on the offensive side. All right. We got to take a quick break. I'm going to make a plea to Brian Gutekunst, though. That's coming up after this quick word. After these quick words. When you're looking for your next vehicle, choose a dealership that knows and cares about the community it serves. Toyson Ford in Chippewa Falls is proud to be locally owned and operated, providing hometown service and a better buying experience for drivers throughout the Chippewa Valley. Whether you're looking for a new Ford, quality pre-owned vehicle, or trusted service for the vehicle you already own, the team at Toyson Ford is here to help. Experience the difference of shopping local. Toyson Ford in Chippewa Falls, your hometown Ford dealer. All right. I'm going to make a plea to Goody if he is listening right now, because why wouldn't he be listening right now? News yesterday that Vita Vea wants to be traded, wants to move on from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let me preface this by saying I put the chances of this actually happening very slim, but I'm a fan, and I'm going to come at it from a fan perspective here, okay? If there was a way that Green Bay could acquire the services of one Vita Vea, I will just simply say, let's blanking go. To simply put it that way, let's blanking go. I get it. The cap number's high. Okay? It's up there. He's in his 30s. You can come at me with all of that. He's got a $22 million cap hit. He's a free agent next year. He's 31 years old this year. Green Bay's not going to sign him to an extension, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I get it. And you know what? I'm probably agreeing with you in a lot of those with a lot of those points. But here's the thing. If we're talking about this for a little bit like the Brewers in the sense of, hey, let's acquire some players, let's be aggressive, let's go for this thing for this year. The window in Green Bay is now. Okay? It is now. It's this year. It's next year. It's not 5 years from now. It's now. And I still have questions about the defensive line. You know, they got Devontae Wyatt locked up. Great. Hargrave's coming in. Again, early 30s. Maybe a year or two left with him. Carl Brooks, I don't know. I don't know about the rookie either. We don't know how it's all like the possibility and the potential of him. But, I mean, you bring in a Vita Vea and you plug him in at that nose tackle spot. And then you on the left or on the right, doesn't matter, you got Devontae Wyatt and then Hargrave. I feel a whole lot better about that defensive line group. You're giving Jonathan Gannon a defensive line with that's the thing, too. When you look at Jonathan Gannon, when he was with the Philadelphia Eagles as defensive coordinator, it was the defensive line. It was bringing pressure. It's clogging up those lanes, putting up pressure up the middle. You go out there and you get a Vita Vea, hey, no. I get it. Okay? It's probably not going to happen. And I would probably put it in the single digits in terms of percentage. But you know what? I could dream. I could dream about this, and I can wonder, and I can sit there, or I can sit here and say, please, could you do this for all the love? Knowing it's not going to happen. It's not going to fit within the budget. You still got to sign Tucker Kraft to an extension. I get it. I understand it, okay? But for this, and usually I'm the one that's downplaying. I was like, okay, it ain't happening. It ain't happening. It's just not the Green Bay way. Usually I'm the one saying this. But for this point in time, on this Tuesday, on July 28th, on the eve of training camp, I am going to go against my normal thinking, normal whatever, and just go at it from more of a fan perspective and say, let's do it. Let's cook. I know we don't have a first-round pick, but, I mean, first of all, he wouldn't cost a first-round pick. If anybody's going to give up a first-round pick for Vita Vea, Buccaneers should do this in a heartbeat. And that's not to diminish the type of player he is. It's just age and, you know, entering the last year of his deal. That would all factor into it. And I don't want to hear anybody say Vita Vea's hurt all the time because then you just don't know. You haven't been following. And you're still stuck on when was it I think it was the Buccaneers Super Bowl year. Yeah, he played a few games that year. He came back and played Green Bay in the postseason. But after that, the dude has been pretty darn healthy. 16 games, 14 games, 15 games, 16 games, 17 games. So don't come at me with, oh, he's always hurt. No, he's not. He's not. Just sit back here for a second, Packers fans. Okay, just sit back in your office chair, or if you're in the car right now, focus on driving, focus on the road, or in your home having some coffee, wherever you're at. Think about this. Okay. Think about Christmas. You're watching Packers going into Chicago. All right. Iceman, Caleb Williams. Soldier Field, Christmas. And he gets up to the line of scrimmage, and who does he see? He sees Vita Vea, Devontae Wyatt, Javon Hargrave, Edrin Cooper, Micah Parsons. I mean, come on now. Just imagine that. Oh, it's fun to imagine, isn't it? It ain't going to happen. But would I be mad? Would I be disappointed if somehow Goody pulled this off? Heck no, I would not. Heck no, I would not. And it's hard not to look at what the Rams are doing, especially if Aaron Donald does come back. And, pairs up with Myles Garrett. And I know Aaron Donald's been out of football for the last couple of years, but I mean, for crying out loud, that guy looks like a Greek goddess. And he's probably still working out. He's working his tail off to get in shape, it sounds like. But that would be a force. Let's not kid ourselves. The Rams, I get it. They're the Super Bowl darlings. They're the Super Bowl favorites this year. But Green Bay's window is now, too. It's this year. It's next year. And the year after that. Not 5, 6, 7 years. Now. I want to win now. And if Vita Vea helps that, it's fun to imagine. It's fun, and I get it. It's not Madden, and I'm usually the one that's saying it's not Madden. You can't do this. You can't do that. But allow me this on this one Tuesday morning to imagine that possibility. Gosh darn it, I would love it. Gosh darn it. What do we got here? We got C-Bomb actually alive and well. Okay, on the video stream. First of all, good morning, Clint Eastwood, whoever you are. C-Bob says, let me ask this. At the beginning of the year, if you said we could get Scooble for either Sproat, Drone, Henderson with a couple of prospects, would you not have jumped for it? Do it. Now, let me clarify. You're not saying all three of those guys plus prospects for Scooble, right? Just want to make sure we're clarified on that. But all right, let's take a quick break. We had shareholders meeting yesterday. Anything come of it? Ed policy? Anything come of it? Some players listed on the PUP list. Let's hash that out before we wrap up the second hour and head into halftime. We'll be right back in just a couple minutes. It happens every year. 1 minute, you're grilling some burgers, some brats, maybe heading to the cabin, do a little fishing at the lake, watching some ball games with your kiddos outside, and the next thing you know, you're shopping for school supplies and wondering where the heck summer went. Well, before the backpacks come out and the busy fall schedule takes over, now is the perfect time to freshen up your home with new flooring from Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire. Whether it's soft new carpet for the family room, durable luxury vinyl planks for those muddy boots, or just to give your home a whole new look, the team at Carpet City Flooring Center will help you find the perfect floor for your family and your budget. They're locally owned, they know Wisconsin homes, and they are committed to making the process easy from start to finish. Make the most of these last weeks of summer. Stop on in to Carpet City Flooring Center in Eau Claire today, because home is where Wisconsin families make their best memories. Coming up just past 8 o'clock, we'll chat some Eau Claire Express with our friend Pete Knudsen, as the Express will be back at Carson Park tonight after a very long road trip. The Express currently in first place in the Great Plains East Division, as we kind of take a look towards the regular season wraps up already late next week. So, but Express played some really good baseball. So we'll chat with Pete coming up just past 8 o'clock this morning. We still got one team left. This is my goal, is to get this 10 a.m. tee time filled up before 10 o'clock today. All right. If you want to get your team in, heck, if you're golfing 7:30 or 1 p.m. and you're like, I want to do 18 or whatever. Hey, we've had people do this before. Or if you know a buddy that you've signed up for, maybe you've already signed up for the 10. You're like, hey, I know somebody that would do it, and then you want to pair up with them. I'll pair you guys up. Go to our website, sportstalk1051.com. Get that last spot in the 10 a.m. tee time. All right, sportstalk1051.com. Let's try to get this thing so we can say Kasper Classic is sold out again. So, what do we got? We've got, oh yeah, okay, yeah. C-Bomb said no, one of them and prospects. Okay, saw this about Mizorowski here really quick. This was from Buster Olney. Just again, we talk about Mizorowski and what else is he going to do to kind of surprise you, or what else could he do to, he set the bar so high. Does he even surprise anybody? Buster Olney. Jacob Mizorowski has allowed an opponent's OPS of 450, combined OPS and slugging percentage. He needs 42 innings to qualify for the ERA title. And if he does that and maintains that 450 or improves it, it will be the best of all time. Just add another notch to the Jacob Mizorowski legend belt this season. 42 innings, huh? So let's say 42. Let's say he goes 6 innings. Those 42, like 6 innings per game. That would be about 7 more starts for the rest of the season here for one Jacob Mizorowski. Doable, I'd say, right? Doable for sure. But just another little fun nugget when it surrounds Mizorowski. So, okay, running out of time here. So let's reset. Next hour, we kick off talking some Express with Pete Knudsen. Then after that, we're going to talk some Badgers, talk some college, talk some Big Ten with RJ Cardinal down in Madison. So we'll hit that. Just past 9 o'clock, I'll play a little bit of a clip of our new episode of the Man Cave Podcast that'll drop at 10 a.m. where we chat with new Eau Claire North basketball coach Mike Cooper. He'll be joining us, or he joined the podcast yesterday, so I'll play a little bit of a clip and preview that so you can listen to the full or watch the full conversation when it drops at 10 a.m. So that's coming your way here. It is a Toys and Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. So what is grinding your gears? Let us know. Get it off your chest. You can text it on over to that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line at participate in one of our fantasy football leagues, please go to our Facebook page. Because I'm trying to take I'm trying to get an idea of how many are interested, so we know how many leagues to set up. So the link to enter your email is up on our Facebook page or Twitter page, or if you simply text these two words, this is all I want: fantasy football. I will send you a link when I've got, probably after the show. I will send you the link where you just enter your email. Or just make it simple on yourself. You can go to the Facebook page or the Twitter page. You'll see the post from last night. Enter your email. That's just my running list. So then I can send you the invites when we set up the leagues. Got to get an idea of how many people want to participate before we can do that. So right now, I think we're on pace to maybe have 3 or 4 different leagues. So, but we'll see how it all plays out. All right. Shot clock is going to cut me off here, and then it's going to be halftime. So, again, we'll chat some more baseball. Eau Claire Express, the first place Eau Claire Express, back at Carson Park tonight after a long road stretch. And they're going to be at Carson Park for a long stretch of games here to wrap up the regular season. And they're in a really good spot to get this second half division championship. Let's kick off the third hour talking some Eau Claire Express. We'll be right back, though, after these news updates. All right, halftime is over with, and we are on to the third hour on this Tuesday morning of July 28th. Thanks for hanging out with us and making us a part of your start here. We're going to talk some college football with Mr. RJ Cardinal coming up about 8:20, 8:25 this morning. We'll get back to some more Brewers talk as the Crew Game 2 against the Giants tonight, 8:45. You can listen to that game on the radio dials of 105.1 FM, 790 AM. Pre-game coverage will start 35 minutes beforehand. So with it being a late game, you got the chance to head over to the Express game tonight at Carson Park. The Express back at home. If it feels like it's been a hot minute, it's because it has been a hot minute since they've been back at home on a long road trip. But they'll be at home quite a bit now to finish up the regular season. And joining us right now to chat some more Eau Claire Express is the voice, the man, Pete Knutson. How you doing, man?
Doing well. How are you?
Not bad, dude. Not bad. You're going to be at the ballpark quite a bit looking at the schedule here.
Yeah.
But you got a first-place team right now, so that makes it well worth it, right?
Yeah. Everybody's a little happier when everybody's winning, and that's a good thing. And that also makes for the players want to hang around and get here for the playoffs and whatnot. Again, we're not in the playoffs yet, but but things are trending that direction. So we just got to keep your head down and hope for the best.
Exactly, because right now lacrosse won the first half.
Yeah,
so.
lacrosse won the first half. We're a game up on them in the second half, but even if lacrosse were to beat us, or let's say they won the second half, our overall record is like six games better than Rochester, the next team. So they go to overall record after that. So we're still in that 6-game kind of thing. So, and we've only got 12 games left. So, you win. Even if you win probably 4 of the next 6, that puts you in pretty good position going in that final 6 games. So,
right, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so, I mean, this team is playing some really good baseball, some hot baseball. Is it offense? Is it pitching? All the above? I mean, what have you noticed? Right? What have you really noticed with this ball club? I mean, just putting together some great winning streaks and just winning a lot of ball games here as of late.
Yeah, I mean, I think if you probably talk to Dale, I don't know if you talk about chemistry, but I think the fact that he's had, and I just, when I put stats together each day for games, I look at like what players have left and which ones haven't, and that kind of thing. We've kept a lot of players this year. Like we have not lost a ton of players. And if we have, most of it's been like an injury type of thing. It hasn't been a guy who's had to go home early. So I think that's been a big piece of it. Offense is good, right? Top 10, 12 in a lot of categories of the 26 teams we have in the league. But if I had to go down on one thing, I'd have to say pitching. We have the best team ERA in the league right now. That's been really good. I mean, our guys throw strikes, which I know sounds rudimentary, but you'd be surprised sometimes in our league. Throwing strikes is how important that is. Right now, we're on pace to have the most strikeouts, not only in team history, but in league history in a season. I think we're at 585, I want to say, and 620 is the team record, and like 680 is the league record, 682, something like that. And I think we're on pace if we keep striking out the number per 9 that we'd strike out of getting like 712 or something like that. So I don't know if we'll hit 712, but I think we have a good chance of breaking that record, and that tells you a little bit about it. But pitching, I think, is the thing that's been there. And, I like stats, so I'm going to give you one more stat here. We won 15 of the last 18 games, Dan, and the 3 losses we've had in that time, all 1-run games. So it should tell you kind of that this team hasn't been out of a game for almost a month, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, I mean the last 2 against Wassa, just 1-run losses this past weekend too, and you bring up the pitching. I know, like, kind of talking with Dale last year too. The fact that it's you're talking about the most strikeouts in team ERA. He kind of made the point last year. A lot of these kids, they want to throw harder. It's not maybe less on the control side of things. Everybody wants to be Jacob Mizorowski, right? So with throwing it hard. So it's great to hear that. That's kind of been a big improvement from last year. I know it's a completely different team and such, but it's kind of cool to hear that you guys are on pace to set those records.
Yeah, I think that. I mean, personally, I think it's harder now than it used to be, and I've got theories on that. One of those is I think the umpires try to get their zones to comply with TrackMan because that's how they move up. They move up in the ranks. So I think in general, since we put TrackMan in, strike zones have gotten smaller in our league. Which a lot of these guys, D3, NAI, JUCO guys, they're used to getting an inch or two off the plate, right? At their home schools where they don't have TrackMan. They come here and all of a sudden umpires are trying to call it as close to TrackMan as they can. It's not like we have ABS or anything like that, but they're trying to confirm with that. So I think strike zones have gotten smaller. So to have that many strikeouts and that, I think that's a pretty impressive thing.
Right. Definitely. And, we're talking a lot about pitching, but home runs wise too. When you get a name next to Dalton Varsho with Jake Bussin, that's pretty good company with home runs. So getting some production.
Well, see, and I might be more of a Moneyball kind of guy. I think he's got 47 hit by pitches in his career now, which is far and above the most in team history. And I think the next closest guy's like 29 or something. So I really like that stat almost more than I like the home runs. But you're right, it's really cool that he's hit 19. Dalton, I have to go back and look at the number of plate appearances. I bet you they're pretty similar because, Dalton in the 2 seasons he played almost every game of both those seasons. Jake's played, I think I think tonight might actually be or close to his 100th game that he's played for the Express. So it's probably less than Dalton, to be honest with you. So he's really impressive. He had 19 home runs just this past spring at UIC. So he's up to 19 now in his career with a wood bat and that kind of thing. So he said while he was on the road trip that he wants to get the record-breaking one at home. So he's got plenty of chances now for the next 12 days. So
definitely.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. You only have 2 more road games, and it's not. You don't have to travel like to Thunder Bay or anything. It's Madison and Duluth.
Yeah, they're just quick day trips and back.
So having all these games at home with the position that you're in right now for this second half championship, how big of a boost do you think that is for this team?
I think that's important because, you'll have everybody there. You'll have all your local guys will be around. I think Dale's set up pretty well right here with who he's got. I don't know all the details on who needs to go back to school and whatnot. My guess is there'll be a couple of guys, but you got guys like Jake and Sawyer Stein and others who are local kids, and you've got plenty of California kids who don't start their trimester or semester or whatever it is until middle of September. So they got plenty of time to be here. So I think they're set up pretty well. Yeah, there's probably something to be said about a road trip and getting to stay on the bus and bond with the guys and that kind of thing. So I think that's helpful sometimes. But yeah, I'm sure they're all itching at the bit to get back home. And I know everybody on the staff is itching at the bit to get home. At least maybe it's me. My wife's probably like, "What are you doing? You're watching baseball every day. Get out of the house, man. Like, I need you to stop. I need you to stop. I need you to get out of here." So she's probably excited as well.
So, you look at, first of all, I got to ask you, because yesterday the Express had to play a doubleheader because play was suspended because of weather. Of all your years, have you seen a year like this with rain delays and postponements?
I probably have, but I feel like every year when you're in it, it feels like the worst.
Yeah.
Right? Thunder Bay is probably feeling like it's the worst because they had a whole week's worth last week or the week before swept out because of wildfire smoke and all that kind of stuff. So that was actually that game that got delayed in the first inning was their first home game in like 2 or 3 weeks too because of that. So, and I think it might feel a little bit more like that. We had the Eau Claire Festival, so we had these 8 days off. So it might feel like we have more of those that are there. I'd probably have to go back and look. I'm sure I have it all written down somewhere of how many rainouts and things we had. But, it's probably, in the end, it'll probably be about average of what it is, maybe a little worse. But yeah, I think we're all excited for it. Yeah, it was funny because 2 nights ago it was fog that did it. They had a couple rainstorms, and then it was actually fine. You just couldn't see from left field to right field on it. So that's why they had to play the doubleheader yesterday. But yeah, hopefully good weather. Hopefully we just chill out and we'll need that going down the stretch.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So it kind of took one of the questions I was going to ask you, the shape of the team going forward, because I know it's always a thing that, Dale's got to manage who has to go back to school and that is a wild card, not only for the Express, but for other teams entering the playoffs, right?
Yeah, that's something to worry about for other teams. Now, lacrosse, won the first half, so if we make the playoffs, we'll play them in the first round. And so when you win the first half, you can, even if guys have to leave, you can say, hey, but can you come back in like the first week in August? and they can kind of plan for that a little bit. So I'm sure they'll be set up fine. I still like our team though, even without that. And I think our two best pitchers. Well, you could probably argue for some other guys, but two of our better pitchers right now are Quentin Marsh and Mike Ersbaumer, and they're both Stanford guys. They're not going anywhere. They're two of our better starters right now. So I think we're in good shape. When you get to playoffs, it becomes kind of that college baseball thing where you just try to. The second a guy gets into trouble, you're pulling him out. It's all hands on deck type of deal. So it's almost a little bit different of a game, I think, when you get to playoffs as well. So, we'll see what happens when we get there. Right now, La Crosse and Eau Claire are the first and third best records in the league. So, whoever comes out of that series, good chance they're at home the rest of the playoffs. I mean, if everything trends the way it's trending right now. So our win percentage overall is really good, and there's a shot that not only could we play, one or maybe even two playoff games in that first series if we make it, but we could even play a few after that if we get on a run and do our thing. So that could be really exciting.
That could be a heck of a series, not only just the natural rivalry between Eau Claire and La Crosse, but, kind of what's at stake for what you said there, too. I mean, a really good shot to host games at home for the rest of the postseason.
Yeah.
I mean, scriptwriters can't come up with a better opening series, probably.
Yeah, it's lining up that way. Again, this is 12 games out. I mean, I think we can all kind of jump the gun a little bit and get excited about it, and who knows what'll happen here. I mean, I think our schedule sets up well. Just got to play good baseball. Pitchers throw strikes. I think if you do the basic stuff right now, you're usually putting yourself in a pretty good position. And guys are playing well. Anthony Martinez was player of the night last night in the Northwoods League, so we've had 12 to 15 of those awards, pitcher, player of the nights this whole year. My list I'm running out of space on my sheet on my game notes. So, we've got a lot of good things going. Just got to head down, do our thing.
Yep.
Don't let anything crazy happen, and we should be in good shape.
I think Dale's probably the right guy to lead that charge too, because he seems very stoic at times when it comes to that. So. Yeah, his trait of being very not too up and not too down after games is a good thing right now, I think. And the team seems to respond really well to kind of what he's done this year. So you just never know, right? You got to have that right group of guys, and it looks like he has a group of guys that respond pretty well this year. Last time we chatted with you was at the beginning of the season. So I mean, season's almost done, regular season wise, next week. If you had to kind of sum up what you've seen from this team or describe this team, what's really jumped out to you besides maybe the wins and such?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, pitching stands out number one, right? Like they just shut teams down, and I think those teams a lot of times are surprised. So, that's been a nice type of thing. But like I maybe I'm always a pessimist or something, but I don't think we've played our best baseball yet. I there's plenty of times I was watching during this road trip where I'm like, what do we do? Why are we doing that? And we're still winning, 7-2 or whatever. And, I'm still getting upset. And I'm like, we could be up 16-2 right now if we really wanted to. So I think not saying our best baseball's ahead of us, but I think we even have more potential on this team than we've even shown. So again, I'm cautiously optimistic. I never get too excited about anything,
right? Because
I always think that it's all going to come crashing down terribly. That's all my sports fandom's coming in there. But I like what we've seen, and I think we got more in the tank. I hope we have more in the tank.
Absolutely. Well, again, plenty of opportunities, and I just saw a few minutes ago the Express posted Fandex even sold out for Thursday.
Sweet.
So
let's go.
Yeah, so it's going to be a packed crowd over there on Thursday.
That's the thing. I mean, if you're into good baseball, right? Like we got all the promotions and you can read about all the different things that are coming out. But if you like good baseball, it's the time. Like this is the time to come, right? And this week, come now before, and again, I don't know who we're going to lose or who's going and everything, but I think with the playoffs looming, I think we've got a chance of keeping a lot of guys. So the team's going to be really good right now, and you're going to see some really high level baseball. So you want to see that, you want to see your hometown club who's really good.
Yep.
Come and see him. This is the time to do it, especially this week.
Absolutely, too. So, well, Pete, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with us for a while this morning. And rest up the vocal cords. You had a week off or a few days off, so you're going to be Northwoods League TV for
I know my mom's coming to town, so she's going to want to talk a lot. So I gotta chill out for the next 4 hours.
That could be a good thing for mom. Say, Mom, I can't talk right now. Gotta rest.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to go over.
That's not going to work.
Yeah.
So, Well, thank you, Pete, so much, and we'll see you at the ballpark this week, okay, bud?
Sounds good.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. RJ Cardinal joins us coming up after these quick words. Looking for your next great night out? Well, make it at the VFW Post 305 in Eau Claire with live music, exciting events happening throughout the month, great food, cold drinks, and fun. There's always a reason to stop on by. Whether you're meeting up with your friends or maybe looking for something fun to do, the VFW Post 305 has something for everyone. And make sure you are following the VFW Post 305 on Facebook to stay up to date on all of their latest events and entertainment. It's the VFW Post 305 located 1300 Star Avenue in Eau Claire. Again, a big thanks to the voice of the Express, Pete Knutson, for stopping by and helping us preview the final couple weeks here of this Express season. The first place, Eau Claire Express. They return back to Carson Park tonight, taking on Thunder Bay. If you missed any portion of that conversation, that will be up on the All Aboard the Eau Claire Express podcast. Let's switch gears and talk some Badgers, talk some college football, talk some college sports with our guy, Mr. RJ Cardinal, who is joining us here this morning. Good morning, RJ. How you doing, sir?
Morning. Pretty good. How are you?
Not bad, man. We are inching closer and closer to kickoff. I know training camp practice opens up for the Packers tomorrow, but college football getting close. Is it Big Ten Media Week this week as well?
Yeah, I believe it's today, tomorrow, and Thursday.
Okay.
I think. I know it's multiple days now because when you got 18 teams, you can't have everybody on the on the podium all at once, so they gotta spread it out. And I can't remember if it's 2 or 3 days, but they switched to that format a few years ago, and yeah, it's nothing wrong with that. But one step closer to fall camp starting on August 6th.
Nice. So that's coming up here. Let me begin with this because I know how much you love preseason polls, RJ. So the annual preseason Big Ten football poll has been revealed, and to everybody's surprise, Wisconsin is not in the top 10. I'm being sarcastic there, but teams ranked below Wisconsin include UCLA, Northwestern, Maryland, Michigan State, Rutgers, and Purdue. So, I mean, the bar, would you say, is it fair to say the bar is not set very high for this Badger football team this year? Or, I mean, can we take it on the flip side and say, no, it's set still pretty high because Luke Fickell's got to show something with this roster, as the Athletic has with their piece, a $25 million roster, which is still weird to say when it comes to college football.
Yeah. There are rumors that it's more along the lines of $30 million, but nobody's said that on the record yet. But I think externally that is probably where most people see Wisconsin after 3 years of subpar football and the standards of what we've seen Wisconsin do, where, I mean, pretty much everybody across the nation wonders what happened to Wisconsin's identity, what happened to the Wisconsin way. We've now seen, at least in this state, Brady Ewing be hired to be the alumni liaison, and it seems to be doing well. They're including everybody. They're actually using the W Club to talk to former football players, and not just the famous ones. They do monthly or bi-weekly, whatever it is, now Zoom calls with Coach Fickell. He's trying to now do outreach to the alumni, which felt very alienated the minute he was hired. And like pretty much all communication to the alumni from the football football team stopped. So they're changing that. We've seen a change in terms of how NIL is running. So changes have been made. We'll see how they pay off this year. I think, at least defensively, we see a young nucleus of talent that could have build upon their freshman and sophomore years and maybe have a breakout defensive performance. And offense is yet to be seen if we can have a healthy quarterback. It seems a good core of wide receivers are back and a totally transformed running back room. So the makings are there to have a potentially good season when the list of the Big Ten rankings you just listed off 6 of the 9 conference games this year are against the bottom 9 teams on that list, with the 10th team overall being Minnesota, 2 spots above Wisconsin. You got Purdue, Rutgers, UCLA, and Maryland in there as well. And then you still have to play Penn State, Iowa, and USC that are in the top half there. But, I mean, if Wisconsin can kind of pull things together here, there's a good possibility that we could have a decent chance at a nice looking record and get back to a bowl game. So I think internally everything is there's high expectations internally, but externally I think it'll be Wisconsin will beat the teams they're supposed to this year and still end up losing to your Notre Dames, your Iowas, your Penn States, and your USCs.
Is it, you mentioned the quarterback, and I know that's something you've mentioned quite a bit in the last, how many times we've done this. For this year, is it as simple? Is that the biggest wild card for this team? If they get healthy, adequate, do they just need adequate quarterback play to maybe get back to a bowl game?
I think so. And with this year, they have a quarterback room of a lot of the same style of quarterbacks. But the majority of the quarterback room are dual threat quarterbacks who you don't have to change the offense for. They were doing that last year. They didn't exactly have the same style of quarterback. So once, somebody went down, they had to change the offense. The other person went down, they had to change the offense. Where you had a freshman quarterback who maybe wasn't ready to play, but you dumbed down the offense. It got things down to where the plays they felt comfortable running. You had a couple of upsets against Washington and Illinois, and things looked okay. But I think if consistent quarterback play and in the style it seems Grimes and Fickle want to run now, a dual threat quarterback will be a good thing. And, Colton Joseph at Old Dominion definitely showed he has the ability to be that kind of quarterback. He had a pretty good first half against Indiana last year, ended up with 3 interceptions and only 95 yards passing, but that was the eventual national champion. Really looking, hoping that, and old coach always said hope isn't a game plan, but you're hoping you don't have to deal with quarterback injuries this year, and maybe that'll be the key to a turnaround along with a perceived easier schedule on paper.
What is I know we're not quite to practice beginning in that, but when you look at this roster and from what is there something that you're fairly confident in with this group as we get closer and closer to the start of the season?
I think our linebacking core is going to be studs. I mean, just with Posa and Catalano, those two looking like they're hopefully can be pushing to be one of the better duos of linebackers in the Big Ten, but their supporting cast is also going to be able to look good because of them. So you have 2 guys that really showed they have a nose for the football and are going to have to be accounted for in every offensive coordinator's game plan that they go up against. So that should open a lot of real estate for other players. So those 2, I think, we'll see, and heck, they only got on the field because of injuries. So I think with those 2, that might be the closest to a guaranteed real thing we have on the team right now that we've seen. The biggest mystery is that offense, but defensively, I think the Badgers will be okay this year.
All right. How many times have we heard that before, RJ, with linebackers in Wisconsin? One of the maybe more underrated positions over the last few years of the amount of studs that have come through that program.
Yeah, and you had All-Americans like Joe Schobert, who went in the 3rd round because he was a system guy, but he ended up doing pretty good for himself. And there's a lot of other former Badger linebackers who are in the 2 deep all over the all over the NFL right now. And yeah, it just seems to be a good time to be a linebacker at Wisconsin for the past decade. But moving forward, we'll see how that goes, and hopefully that tradition continues, and you can build back up the O-line. You can get somebody drafted again this year, since that was one that broke from the 70s as well. A lot of bad records being broken for Wisconsin lately. So hopefully you can get this thing turned around. And it's, like I said, so far this off season, at least off the field, that we've seen the steps towards hopefully the rehabilitation of this program have been made.
Do you going to the offensive line? I know the offensive line has a new head coach or new position coach this year, or assistant coach of offensive line, Eric Matos. How when you think about Wisconsin and the offensive line, I mean that was kind of the bread and butter for the longest time. How do you feel about this group heading into this season?
That's another one. Couple injuries last year, like to Kevin Haywood, who was going to be your starting left tackle. He's healthy again. You kind of liked what you saw last year. I think there's still just some, people didn't have to respect the passing game. So it was one of those, it made it difficult when maybe not everything was up to par, but I think overall, some of the transfers, some of the people getting healthy again, some of the younger guys who had to go trial by fire last year, I think we'll see a rebound, especially hopefully the attitude of Eric Matos rubs off on these guys, because we saw what he was doing with the offensive line at Arkansas, and they were turning out some draft picks, and hopefully the new attitude, and he feels like it's about to be a resurgence of Wisconsin O-lines of the past. So hopefully that comes to fruition starting with this season. And I think with what we're seeing in terms of, like I said, injuries, all that, with people coming back, some of those new transfers in, I think we'll see a step in the right direction at the O-line as well.
So with it being Big Ten Media Days, if you were there, RJ, and you could ask Luke Fickell one question, what would that question be?
He answered a lot of them in that athletic article posted yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, something that happened before you and I talked.
Yeah.
And maybe ask him to go deeper into some of the stuff he said there, because those first couple of paragraphs are pretty damning for Chris McIntosh. After back-to-back losses to Iowa and Ohio State, did McIntosh really come to you and ask, what do you want to do? Because that's not a leader.
Yeah.
This is the same guy who, depending on who you talk to, Paul Christ basically said, I'm going to do it my way, and we're going to do it the Wisconsin way, and he got fired. But after two blowout home losses, 37-0 to Iowa and 34-0 to Ohio State, McIntosh came down and knocked on Fickell's door and said, hey, what do you want to do? You can be all in, or I can give you an escape route. And then 24 hours later, he says, I want to be here to pull us out of this. So, I mean, that's a great answer. And then, we had the press conference that Sunday, or late that Sunday, maybe Monday, where McIntosh said, I'm 100% behind Luke Fickell. Well, yeah, when you give the guy the choice, you don't have to be 100% behind him. So even though now it looks like, he was his biggest ally, you're starting to see cracks in what was going on in the Wisconsin athletic department. And I don't need my leader going to ask his subordinate, what do they want to do?
Right.
I need my leader to tell the subordinate what's going to happen. And that's nothing against Luke Fickell there, because he said the right thing. I want to pull us out of this. And, the messages kept coming out. We're going to do this. He's going to be the coach in 2026. Nothing's changing. Then, the money started coming in. Then the changes off the field to start recruiting the state of Wisconsin, to start having the alumni come back and talk to people, being able to reach out and do all, like, the things were going in the right direction. Then out of the blue, come April, and the direct quote from that article, he McIntosh found his own escape route. And Luke Fickell kind of put it nicely. I'm not sure what changed. I think he thinks he genuinely believes he can go to the Big Ten and change college football. I don't know too many places where they create a new position and you automatically think you can change college football. But then in his own letter leaving, he writes, "I wasn't looking for a new job. This just became an opportunity I couldn't say no to." Like, you took a pay cut and you left.
Yeah.
Your feet were held to the fire and you quit. Your head coach didn't, who's probably now more on a hot seat than you ever would have been. But it is what it is. And I would genuinely just want to dive deeper into what that conversation was after the Ohio State game and why he gave you 24 hours, where after a loss to Illinois 3 years prior, he just fired Paul Chryst on the spot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, he has no intel on what that was. Chris McIntosh never responded to that Athletic article. But it's something to ask, because, I mean, you can have unwavering support from the AD, but when he comes to you to ask what you want to do, that's not unwavering support. So I think it just keeps diving into the wrong person was hired to be our athletic director. And I'm not sure whose idea it was to start doing NIL the right way. But I mean, the more and more it looks like it might not have been McIntosh's, and maybe the move was part of a grander plan.
I'm glad you brought up that piece, because, yeah, I read it too, and I would recommend a lot of Badger fans go check that out and read it. My question to you with that piece too is, did it change kind of your thoughts, your feelings towards Luke Fickell at all, and maybe shift it more to McIntosh? I know you weren't the biggest McIntosh guy as of late here, last year or so, but did it change your viewpoint of Luke Fickell and maybe kind of give you, okay, this was what was actually going on behind the scenes, maybe being a little too hard on Fickell, or not really?
I wouldn't say my opinion of Fickell has changed, because he's still a guy who's saying all the right stuff. Whether it's coming to fruition on the field or not, that's beside the point. When you find out we were in the bottom third of the Big Ten in spending, yeah, there was a talent gap there.
Mm-hmm.
When you find out, he has always put forth this is unacceptable. This is, like, he says the right stuff, and I get it. And there's circumstances that also helped him lose. So, like, it's not like I'm not one who hated the hire. I understood the hire.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not hating the guy. There were reasons why some of the recruiting in state was down. When your top guys in the state are 3 stars and you're going out of state to get 4 stars, like, it makes sense. So I never really had a huge problem with Fickell. Now, was the losing and the staff decisions a little obscure? Yes. And I fault him for that. But he's recognized the issue, started changing it and all that kind of stuff. But I think it does just pile on more to what was going on in the AD's office. And the fact he didn't want to comment on it, I'm not sure he would have a lot of supporting evidence as to why he was helping. So I think it kind of sheds a little more light on where the athletic department head was, rather than anything that would change somebody's mind on Fickell. I think no matter where you are on him, you'll think it's just lip service, or you'll look at it and be like, he is a good leader, but there were circumstances. And so it's a very open-ended article, I think. And I mean, maybe it could change somebody's mind. I'm not one who was on the, run him out of town fully, because unless he didn't make changes, then yes. But he's full on gone into like panic. You can't call it panic mode, but a full on PR reset
Mm-hmm.
to try to get back to the Wisconsin way. And so he's made the steps, I feel. And it's not just this lip service from the article. We've seen it within the football team, within the NIL and all that. And he's still here, and the man who is leading the athletic department left.
Mm-hmm.
So without that guy's side of it, it more makes it look like, he still got to win this year, but it does seem like the leader of the athletic department was the issue, not necessarily the football coach.
Last question for you to feed off that then. Do you with the new AD hire, from what if we're using that piece and just kind of the behind the scenes, does the Sean Eichhorst hire maybe make a little bit more sense? Maybe they want an experienced guy, a guy who has been an athletic director before, because McIntosh wasn't. Do you feel there's any correlation to that hire then, considering what we now know, what was going on behind the scenes?
Yes, especially since what we talked about. We wanted somebody who understood the money side of things. Sean Eichhorst at Texas was the I forget which, COO, CFO, whatever he was over there, but he was big on the money side of it. So you have a guy who's got Wisconsin roots, who can go around the state. People recognize him, played at Whitewater, went to Marquette for his law degree, was at Wisconsin, was the AD at Whitewater. Like, he's got a whole bunch of ties here. And if you need capital projects to happen, he's a good one there too, because for whatever you want to say, at his tenure in Nebraska, he got that new basketball arena built. And now Nebraska is doing pretty darn good in basketball, So I do like the hire. I think it was a money-driven hire for the sake of getting more influx of money into the athletic department. It does seem like he's visiting coaches and teams right now, and I mean, you have players be like, "Oh, I never met McIntosh." Well, a couple of these teams won national championships.
Mm-hmm.
like you had a team playing in. You had the women's hockey team win the national championship. You had the men's hockey team playing for the national championship, and outside of the coaches having met him, some of those players are like, "Yeah, I never met him. He was on the podium for our trophy ceremony when we got back to Madison." Oh, that's cool. Basketball team's like, "Oh yeah, he's come to practice like 3 times now, and we've gotten to meet him. He's a great guy." And like we said, you had Greg Gard and Mark Johnson, 2 guys that I've never heard say a bad word about anybody, being like, "This is refreshing that we have somebody who will be able to make this athletic department cohesive again."
Wow.
So, it's I think it's a hire that has made, at least internally, Wisconsin feel good about Wisconsin again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's a good way to sum it up. RJ, I know I kept you a little bit longer, but appreciate the chat this morning, dude. Enjoy the rest of the week, and we'll catch up with you again next week, okay, bud?
Absolutely. Sounds good. We'll talk to you then.
You got it. There you go. Great stuff from RJ again this morning. Big thanks to him for joining us here. We got to take a quick break. We're running a little behind, but we'll be back after these few words. Big thanks again to RJ for joining us. Great stuff there. Surveyor Sam, truly great interview. RJ did not hold back. RJ, he's glad we have him every Tuesday morning. And now that we are getting closer and closer to a kickoff with the upcoming college football season, it's going to be an interesting season. When we get a little bit closer, I'm not going to ask for it now, but when we get, maybe a week or two before kickoff, I'm going to be genuinely curious to get your takes. What's your expectations? What do you want to see from this Badger football season? Is it simply as just making a bowl game? Is it 7 wins? Obvious improvement? The thing is, these teams now in college, they switch so much. It could be a completely different team next year. You know what I mean? So, but think about that for a hot minute. Since we did go a little bit long, I got to take another break right now. I apologize. We went a little long there, but got to take another break before the top of the hour. Just a quick reminder to open up the next hour. We're going to play a clip. Got a new episode of the Man Cave podcast dropping at 10 a.m. Video and audio. New head coach for Eau Claire North basketball, Mike Cooper. I'm going to play a little bit of a clip as a teaser clip. It's about a 35-minute conversation with Coach Cooper. So if you want to check that will drop at 10 o'clock, a little over an hour from now. So, but that will kick off the 9 o'clock hour. We'll get back to some more baseball talk, more Packers talk with training camp. Continue to send me your Toyson Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday. What's grinding your gears? Send them on over. Quick break. Be right back to wrap up the third hour. All right. Final hour is going to be coming up here in just a skosh, but we're going to talk some more Brewers as Game 2 gets set for tonight's Logan Henderson on the mound for the Crew. 8:45 first pitch. You can listen to that game on the radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. We'll get back to a little bit more green and gold chat as we are set for training camp. First practice coming your way tomorrow. We had the shareholders meeting yesterday. Anything that Ed Policy had to say that jumped out? He did say, they're not selling the name rights to Lambeau Field. So there you have it. I feel like Ed Policy's been in the news more in his first year than what maybe Mark Murphy has been in his first year. Actually, that might not be fair because Mark Murphy had to deal with the Favre saga in 08, and that ended up being in his first year too. So, all right, shot clock's going to cut us off. We've got some news, and then we'll kick off the final hour on this Tuesday morning. Stick around. We'll be back after these quick words. All right, here we go. Final hour kicking off right now. Appreciate you making us or hanging out with us throughout this entire morning. Don't forget, it is a Toys and Ford Grind My Gears Tuesday, so send it on over. What's grinding your gears, peeps? 715-830-1912. 715-830-1912 on that Shoe Doctor's bullpen line, or you can hang out in the Section 105 chats. We've got some more Brewers talk as we get set for Game 2 of the series with the Giants tonight. We'll hit that up. We've got Packers training camp practice starting tomorrow. So we'll get into that in the final hour here, too. So I want to kick off this hour. So we got a new episode of the Man Cave Podcast dropping in just under an hour from now. The video version, which is up on YouTube. Audio, like on Spotify, Apple, all that will be dropping same time. So I was able to catch up yesterday for a long conversation with new Eau Claire North men's basketball coach, Mike Cooper. And I want to play a little bit of a teaser clip. So it's about a 35-minute total conversation. So if you want to check that out, that'll be available in less than an hour. But here's just a little bit of a teaser clip from my conversation with Coach Cooper yesterday that'll drop fully on the Man Cave podcast at 10 a.m. this morning. You know, we had Coach Mike Sins on last week talking about the football, which I learned you're also helping out with the freshman team there, too. And he talked a lot about your energy that you bring to practice. And one thing he talked about, too, because he's a new coach coming into this program, talked about kind of a sleeping giant. And I've heard that mentioned a lot with North, whether it's football or even basketball. Can you see that event? Could you see that with your program too, with the men's basketball team, that maybe it's kind of a sleeping giant and some big, like what are your expectations for this program?
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a great question. For me, when I look at North and evaluate it, I mean, obviously we're one of the biggest Division I schools in the entire area. Mm-hmm. So just having that base of kids to be able to pull from. And then if you see, you know, I'm not sure if you've been over to North recently, but we have a brand new weight room, brand new football field. So, you know, when you kind of think of the changes that are going on, really, I just think it's been waiting to be grabbed with some energy. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I see it as a huge, huge opportunity. And my very first time that I was able to speak with the team after taking the job, I think we met at 7:15 in the morning. You know, it was during the school season. And I asked all the seniors, I got 6 seniors with me. I said, do you guys want to wait? You know, do you want to wait to be a good team? Because we're going to work all summer. You know, I've put our guys through what I would consider a college-level summer. You know, We've done all sorts of practices, mandatory lifting. And, you know, when I asked them if they wanted to wait to be good, there wasn't one hand that shot up. You know, everybody wants to be good now. So I've really tried to not shake things up, but just really, really be shocking with how accountable that I've held them. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think we've got better this summer. Obviously, we'll see, you know, as the season goes on. But, yeah, I mean, I've just really taken it seriously, and I think the guys have responded well to that.
It's, yeah, I could sense a vibe switch, too, when it comes to not only with football but basketball now, too, with you coming aboard, which has me excited because I have a 9-year-old who loves basketball, who will be an Eau Claire North Husky when he gets older. So please stay around for a little bit longer.
My best, yeah.
You know, because I, you know, that would be awesome. But that's the sense I'm getting. You know, is this vibe and excitement with surrounding the basketball team going forward? Because I think, you know, this is a big basketball area when it comes to winter. I mean, a lot of really good, talented teams across the board too. A lot of good competition across the board, too. Is that what gets you maybe a little excited, too, is that, hey, we're going to get our best shot from a lot of teams in this area?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, before I took the job, I really tried to do my research as far as the history of the program. And, you know, you look at greats like Coach Pat Hammond, who, if he's listening, I promise you, Hammer, I'm going to reach out. You know, I still need to sit down with him. Everybody I meet, it's like you got to get Coach Hammond in the fold. But I'm talking to Coach Marks and even Coach Eric Carpenter, you know, from back in the day, have really helped me kind of get a feel for the program and what it is and really what the North Side is. And since I've been here, I've really tried to meet as many people that care about it. You know, Coach David Smith was part of my hiring committee, helped me get through the first early parts of the summer. And what those guys kind of helped me realize is North and Eau Claire, you know, if you look at you zoom it out and look at the picture of it, you know, North is the blue-collar school. You know, we got the blue-collar kids. We don't have some of the amenities of the South Side, even though our schools are exactly the same if you look at them. But we've really tried to lean into that. And, our identity as a basketball team and how I like to coach kind of co-aligns with it. So, we're leaning all the way into being blue collar. I've even kind of mocked up some logo designs, which, the new athletic director, Jordan Fish, doesn't love it. But, I got a blue collar Husky that I'm going to try to roll out there and get on some T-shirts for us.
Nice.
We're leaning all the way into that. So,
Heck yeah. Save
I've
one over
loved it.
here, dude. So
I think it'll be a hot commodity once we get those out because
Yep.
you would be shocked how many people are Northside people. I mean, you're a Northside guy, but,
Yep.
I just want people to be really proud of that. And hopefully, athletically, we can align with the pride that the Northside does have.
And make that doghouse, a place that opposing teams don't want to come play.
Oh, they already don't want to
Yeah.
come play, and that might just be because the floor might be the slipperiest gym floor I've ever seen in my life. But my AD promises me by next year we should be able to resolve that. So, yes, that is the goal.
Absolutely. So how crucial do you think it is, from a youth sports standpoint, to kind of get maybe a buy-in or a culture set, from the ground up, if you will, like the youth kid, like third, fourth graders, kind of how crucial is that, do you think, when it comes to a high school program to get those kids kind of working and practicing already in the fold?
No, it's everything. It is everything. And I've actually, I know it's a huge rivalry, but Coach Brisky at Memorial actually was one of the first guys that I met with when I got this job. And he kind of explained to me, what the middle schools and how they kind of feed the schools. And, he was more helpful than he really needed to be. Obviously we have quite a bit of rivalry back and forth, but engaging the youth has been the biggest thing. And my very second week here this summer, all we did was our youth camp. And, I required our varsity guys to work it. And I had 35 guys showing up Monday through Thursday working with the young kids. And just for them to be able to see it, I got guys on my team that grew up watching Dalton Banks, who, if you guys don't know Dalton Banks, he's as big time as you can get from North, playing Division I, playing pro, working his way back into the college game, even though his pro career is far from over. But when you ask them, when they thought that it could click for them and they could be varsity athletes, it was them watching Dalton. So I've tried to, express to our team, like, you guys are Dalton now, regardless if we won 8 games last year, what it is, how you guys carry yourself and how you work and how engaging you are is everything. And for me as a coach, my big step and what I want to get done, before the end of the summer here is I want to have a coaches clinic for all of our Husky Hoops, up and coming coaches, middle school coaches, and kind of get everyone on the same page with the expectation.
That would be awesome, because I know my kid's going to be doing Husky Hoops for the first time this winter too. And, we've just been doing Y-ball and helping coach. So to hear that, to kind of have that same vision, I think that would be such a huge boost for that Husky Hoops program too.
Oh, yeah. No, and our system and our style, how we're going to kind of build this thing and what my ideas are is, I'm a defensive first coach. So, our team, if you come to a practice, you'd be shocked. Everybody thought this D1 guy is going to have all these fancy plays. We're doing nothing but full court defensive slides. So
nice.
We'll see how the second and third graders like that. Hopefully they take it in stride and I don't end up running off a bunch of them when they're in 4th and 5th grade. But, just the overall joy for the game. It is a fun style of play. And making sure that the kids that they're around us, when we start doing stuff in the season, I'd love to have half times, all sorts of different ways to engage the youth. And, it helps us get more bodies in the crowd too, which, only helps us.
Okay. All right. So that's just, again, a quick portion of my conversation with Eau Claire North new men's basketball coach, Mike Cooper. The full conversation will drop on the Man Cave podcast in about 45 minutes or so, which you can find that on our website, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, or you can check out the video version of it too. That's up on our YouTube page. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll get back to some more baseball talk. Brewers getting set for Game 2 of this series. Let's get things going. Been getting things going here for the last 3 hours, right? Let's take a quick break, and we'll get back to some more Brewers chat coming up after these few words. When it comes to feeding your family, quality matters. And for great tasting meats, you don't have to look any further than Mike's Star Market right here in Eau Claire. From fresh cuts of beef and pork to delicious brats, steaks, and all your favorites for the grill, Mike's Star Market brings you the quality and service that you can expect from a true local butcher shop. Whether you're firing up the grill, planning a family meal, or stocking up the freezer, stop by Mike's Star Market and experience the difference of shopping local. Mike's Star Market in Eau Claire. Quality meats, hometown service, and a tradition that you can taste. Might fire up the grill for a little baseball tonight. I mean, hey, you got a couple options. You go to the Express game tonight. They're back at Carson Park. And then it's a late one for the Brewers, 8:45. First pitch for the Brew Crew. Coverage will begin again 35 minutes prior on your radio dials of 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Logan Henderson is on the mound for the Brewers as he's going to be looking for his 5th win on the season. Looking to improve to 5-1 on the season. I think the biggest thing here is Brewers offense. They going to come alive after last night. Now, Pat Murphy didn't use it as an excuse, but apparently the team was 5 hours behind schedule leaving Milwaukee Sunday to go to the West Coast. It's a quick turnaround, plus 5-hour delay. Yeah, it may affect them a little bit. Probably did, but we'll see how they bounce back tonight. I've got confidence in Logan Henderson tonight. I just got to see if that offense can kind of jump out and give him some much-needed run support. But, we got trade deadline. I mean, the rumor mills are heating up more and more. You've got more national peeps out there thinking, or at least they're saying, that the Brewers are going to be aggressive, that they're going to be buyers at the trade deadline. Go to MLB.com. First of all, we heard Adam McCulvey from Brewers.com mention this last week or earlier this week. MLB.com. They do a little Q&A. They said the same thing. It says Milwaukee, President of Baseball Operations, Matt Arnold, has been working the phones and has checked in on the likes of Skubal and Mason Miller, but players like that need to be made available for him to act. With so few sellers at the moment, the options aren't nearly that exciting. I think we'll see some more clarity in action the closer we get to next Monday, but with a deep farm system and an incentive to make moves, I think the Brewers will do whatever they can to bolster their roster by August 3rd. Maybe this is the pessimistic part of me coming out, but we've heard multiple times now from writers, MLB insiders say Brewers going to be aggressive, going to be buyers. Now, for one, it's going to take two to tango in this thing. Brewers may want to be buyers, they may want to acquire talent, they may want to improve this team, but there's got to be other teams that are going to be willing to be a trade partner. And right now, I don't know if it's a clear picture. Maybe it'll clear up a little bit towards the end of the week here, and things get really anxious and really desperate, deadlines for action sort of thing. But to say one thing, yeah, Brewers want to be buyers. They got to find that right seller. Don't make a move just to say that you made a move. And I don't think Matt Arnold and the Brewers are going to do that. But here's the pessimistic side of me coming out of this thing. How much of this is manufactured in a sense that, because you hear this a lot in football, and it's more of an agent thing maybe in football, and I don't know if it'd be the same thing in baseball, but okay. Bear with me here for a second as I try to explain where my mind is thinking at this point in time. We know right now there's a lot of uncertainty on who's going to be sellers because there's so many teams that are just maybe a couple games away from a wild card spot. They're not out of it. And those are the teams that have the prized players, the prized possessions, okay? Is it possible that maybe these teams have already decided, yeah, we'll be sellers if the price is right, but maybe the price isn't right? So they're floating the idea out there that the Brewers, the small market, small budget, small spending Brewers are going to be aggressive at the deadline. They're going to be buyers. Let's float that out there, because if teams then like the Dodgers, the Cubs, the Phillies, Yankees, whatever, teams that have pockets, aren't afraid to be aggressive. If they hear, oh, Brewers are going to be aggressive, Brewers are going to be buyers, well, this changes the game a bit. We'll offer more. Is that, see, this is where my pessimistic mind kind of goes, are the Brewers being thrown in here as a team that, hey, if small market, small spending Brewers, because you're hearing the same thing about the Rays too. These guys are going to be buyers. All right, you big, deeper pocket teams that have been more willing to trade players over the years. You want our guy. We don't like the what you're willing to give up now, but we're going to float out there the idea that the Brewers are going to be interested. All right, yep, now you got to up the ante. Now you got to up the price tag a bit. That's just that's one thing that crosses my. It very well could be, hey, Brewers are going to try to go for this. Now, I don't think the Brewers are going to go all in. They ain't going to sacrifice their whole farm system. They're not going to trade, Midday. They're not going to trade all 6 of their top 100 prospects and just say, we are going all in for this year alone. I don't see Matt Arnold and the Brewers doing that. If they did do that, it better work. It's like selling your soul to the devil for hopefully a World Series championship this season. So I don't know. This is why this week is going to be so fascinating. And as a sports fan, you got to love it. You got to enjoy it. I'd rather be in this position right now for my favorite team. We're sitting here and we're speculating whether our favorite team, not everybody's favorite team who's listening right now, but our team, the Milwaukee Brewers, we're sitting here speculating whether they're going to be buyers. And if they are going to be buyers, are they going to be aggressive buyers, or are they going to be bargain shopping? I will take this every single year at this point in time in the season. Why? Because it means that team, the Brewers right now, they're a playoff contending team again. Whenever you talk about your team being sellers, well, say bye-bye to that season. I'll take this. I know it's a lot of speculation. I know it's a lot of rumors. It's a lot of reports. We don't know what's true, what's fake, what's manufactured. But I'll still take it 10 times out of 10 because it means that the Brewers are legit again. They're a playoff team again. Give it to me. Give it to me. Any day of the week. I love the rumors. I love the speculation about, are they going to do this? Are they going to do that? Are they going to actually trade for this player? Are they going to go? Yeah. Bring it on. I'm ready to be disappointed again. I'm ready to maybe get my heart broken. I'm ready to maybe completely buy in to the thought of them acquiring so-and-so, and it doesn't happen. Been there before a lot with Green Bay. But it just, I take it as the mindset. I take the approach as, all right, that means we got another playoff caliber team here. Let's go. Too many years, too many seasons have gone by where we haven't even sniffed the postseason. I'll take this rumor-filled time of the year any day of the week. I still don't see Mason Miller. I still don't see Skubal as being Brewers. The Abrams one is just that still perplexes me a little bit. So if it's not either of those guys that have been rumored to be attached to the Brewers, the big question I think fans want to know is who? Who is potentially the guy or players that the Brewers may be kind of eyeing here? That's the big question, isn't it? Honestly, it's probably going to be a name that is not getting a ton of attention. And whether that's a big fish or a small fish remains to be seen. For what it's worth, ESPN, they got a new piece. One deal ESPN experts would make. Brewers are listed on here for a couple players. And it was just two players I said probably not going to happen. Scooble, Jeff Passan, who has been on this bandwagon, this train for the Brewers for a couple months now, saying, let's do something that the Brewers don't normally do. Let's go get Tarek Scooble. This is what he had to say. The Brewers recognize the opportunity this season presents. They haven't won a World Series in their 58 years of existence, and they are in the midst of a season in which they have the game's most dominant pitcher in Jacob Misiorowski, a deep well of arms beyond him, a lineup with depth, and good gloves aplenty. This is the time to push. So how about a package of Logan Henderson and then a couple of prospects, Ricky Monies, Josh Adamski, Adam Zawiski, second baseman, for Scooble. And as painful as it would be to give up a good rotation piece in Henderson, a surefire big leaguer in Josh, and a high ceiling talent in Monies, Milwaukee's farm depth allows this sort of deal. Models don't like it, but this isn't the time to listen to them. It's time to headline a rotation with Scooble and Misiorowski and let the rest take care of itself. Another one, Mason Miller to the Brewers. Milwaukee's farm system is so full, it's bordering on gluttonous. A return, Sal Frelick. Oh, boy. A return of some prospects, Braylon Payne and Sal Frelick, would be a healthy one for San Diego, while the Brewers get the opportunity to acquire baseball's best reliever, one who can influence 4 pennant races without surrendering any of their top 5 prospects. Without adding an impact piece at this deadline, the greatest 2-year stretch in Brewers history could ultimately be remembered as little more than a footnote, thanks to the Dodgers' dominance. Think about that line. That's kind of a powerful line, Brewers fans. Without adding an impact piece at this deadline, the greatest 2-year stretch in Brewers history could ultimately be remembered as little more than a footnote, thanks to the Dodgers' dominance. That one kind of stings a little bit, doesn't it? That one hits a little bit. For what's worth, they don't have the Brewers listed for any hitters. What would your reaction be if they got a guy like Scooble or Mason Miller? You're probably already thinking like World Series tickets. Right? I don't know. All right, we got to take a quick break. Plenty more to get to, though, as we are halfway through the final hour. We'll be back after these quick words. The countdown to fall sports is on. From Friday night football to volleyball, soccer, and cross-country athletes across the Chippewa Valley are getting ready to compete. But when injuries happen, getting the right care matters. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine specializes in helping athletes getting back into the game with expert orthopedic care, sports medicine, and treatment that you can trust. Whether you are a weekend warrior or a high school athlete chasing your goals, their team is here to help keep you moving. Chippewa Valley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine, your partner in staying active, healthy, and ready for the season ahead. All right. Hey, deadline's coming up here. Speaking of deadlines spur actions, still, let me double check. Let me just refresh it. We got the Kasper Classic coming up next Friday, 1 p.m., sold out, 10 a.m. We still got one team left for the highly coveted 10 a.m. slot. We had a team that had to back out, scheduling conflict. So you want to get that spot, head on over to sportstalk1051.com right now to sign up your two-person team for next Friday's Kasper Classic. Better do it. It's going to sell. I wanted to do it now so we could say, put up a nice graphic saying sold out. We already got a record number of teams this year. So big thanks to all of you who have already signed up your team. So yesterday, switching gears to a little football, had the shareholders meeting. And, not a whole lot out of it. But Ed Policy did say, we're not selling the naming rights to Lambeau Field. I would say not yet. I wouldn't say it's completely off the table. Not anytime in the near future. I'm talking like long term. But Policy also talked about the extensions to Russ Ball, Brian Gutekunst, and Matt LaFleur. And as our good friend Rob Domofsky notes, maybe Jordan Love had a little bit to do with Matt LaFleur staying. Policy yesterday said, quote, we had 10 head coach openings throughout the league this past offseason, and that caused a tremendous amount of chaos in a lot of organizations. I believe that players, especially quarterbacks and championship caliber teams, develop best in an environment of continuity, not chaos. So maybe a little bit there. Pup list came out. Initially, Micah Parsons was not on the physically unable to perform list, which garnered some intrigue, that's interesting. But temper down those expectations because he sounds like he will be placed on the physically unable to perform list today. But the players that were, no surprise, Tucker Kraft was listed on there. But Luke Musgrave, Javon Hargrave, and Aaron Banks were all listed on the physically unable to perform list. Now, here, this is the optimistic side of me now. After I was being a little pessimistic before, I'll try to be optimistic in this. That could change in a day or two or in a couple days. These guys could be taken off at any point in time. And we've seen that before where a guy is initially on the physically unable to perform list, but then a couple days later, taken off. Yeah, I hope that's the case for guys like Luke Musgrave and Javon Hargrave and Aaron Banks. But I think, especially too, for Luke Musgrave, this is a huge training camp preseason for Luke Musgrave. Tucker Kraft, even if he is taken off, I don't know, there's going to be a ramp-up period. Musgrave's going to be missing some crucial reps. If he's going to be missing time in the early goings here of training camp, Musgrave is going to be missing some crucial reps that could be a big boost for not only him, but for the team in the season. Because, all accounts still say that Tucker Kraft is going to be ready and he's going to play week 1. But there's still probably going to be a little bit of a ramp-up period. And even if Tucker Kraft is playing a ton and getting a majority, I still think there is a role for Luke Musgrave. So the fact that right now, from what we can see, is that he's going to be missing some time, that's a huge loss for him. And it stinks. I don't know what's going on with Aaron Banks. I really feel like that contract hampered Green Bay big time. Otherwise, he could be out. I bold prediction. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays like he did at the beginning of last year. He probably is going to be benched, especially if Burton is the real deal and Sean Ryan's doing a good job at center and Anthony Belton's doing a good job at right guard. I wouldn't be shocked. Hargrave, hopefully it's nothing that'll keep him out long too, because depth, again, on that defensive line. But it means more opportunities for the youngsters, like Chris McKellen, the rookie, and maybe Carl Brooks a little bit more, who's been there for a little bit, but guys that are going to be working in a new system that Jonathan Gannon is bringing in. But, yeah, tomorrow gets going here. Bikes will be out. One of the best traditions in all of sports. We'll hold this on for tomorrow. So, but your homework assignment, have any of you or your kids ever have a Packer player ride a bike? I was never able to go as a kid. I would have loved to. I'd still like to do that with Hudson, but he's so shy in that. I don't know if he would ever be all about it, but I think that's such a cool thing to see those videos. I'm looking forward to watching the video tomorrow. But have any of you experienced that? Any of you? Think about that, and we'll share that tomorrow. So, all right, we got about 15 minutes left. So, hey, final call too. If I'm going to do this after 10 o'clock. We got a few of you. But I'm working on putting together a few fantasy football leagues. If you are interested in playing in the 715 Sports Talk 105.1 Fantasy Football League, go to our Facebook page, the Sports Talk Facebook page, or the X/Twitter page, and look for the post from last night. Sign up with your email. I'd need to know kind of a number of how many of you are interested before we decide how many leagues. So if you're interested, put your email in there. That way, when we put together leagues, you'll get the invite through your email. If you want, just text me these two words so I can sort it at 10 o'clock. Fantasy football. That's all you got to text. Fantasy football. I will text you back the link to put your email in there. So final call for that. I'd like to get things going here and kind of start to work on that and set all that stuff up. But all right, let's take our final break. We got picks to wrap up this Tuesday morning. We'll be back after these few words. All right, time to wrap it up here this morning with some picks. Baseball picks here. Let's start off with Cleveland taking on the Cincinnati Reds. Chase Burns, I'm going to go Reds. I'll go Reds tonight. Or this afternoon, I should say. We got the Diamondbacks versus the Pirates. I'll go Pirates for this one. Baltimore, Detroit. This is a big series for these two teams. They're just right on the fringe. Just a couple games outside of the wild card here. Detroit continues to lose these. They out of it. I'll go Detroit tonight. I'm not confident, though. Phillies versus the Marlins. Nola, Alcantara. I'm going to go Sandy in Miami. Texas, Tampa Bay. Give me Tampa Bay. Toronto versus Washington. I'll go Toronto. Braves. Braves versus Mets and Chris Sale's on the mound. Give me the Braves. Cleveland versus Cincinnati for game 2 of their doubleheader. I'll go Cleveland with this one, so we're splitting it. Kansas City versus Minnesota. Give me the Twins. Yankees, White Sox. I'll go with the Yankees. Cubs versus Cardinals. Cubs picked up the win last night. I'm going to go with the Cardinals tonight. We got Houston versus the Angels. I'm going to go with the Astros. Boston versus the Athletics. I'll go with the Red Sox. Rockies, Padres. Give me the Padres. Mariners, Dodgers. Luis Castillo. I'll go Dodgers. I won't overthink it. Brewers, Giants. Give me the Brewers tonight to even up the series at 1 win apiece and set up the rubber match for tomorrow. So, all right. Those are your picks for this Tuesday morning. All right, so coming up tomorrow, here's some of your homework assignments. All right. We got a What If Wednesday. It's always a fun one. A lot of you put together a lot of good what if scenarios. Let's make it kind of a MLB trade deadline What If Wednesday. What if the Brewers traded for this person? What if the Brewers stood pat? Let's kind of make it that what if MLB trade deadline version. Okay, and I know we got listeners who are not just Brewers fans, but if you are a Twins fan or a Cubs fan, you could chime in with this too. Don't be shy. I get messages once in a while say, hey, talk some Twins. Hey, talk some. All right. You talk some Twins and you talk some Cubs here too. Give me your input on it. When I asked for it, give me your input on it. So do a little what if for your favorite baseball team coming up at the trade deadline, especially if you are the Twins. If you're a Twins fan, what do you want to see your team do? You want to stay in pat? Do you want them to continue to sell? Or do you want them to sell pieces like they did last year? Or maybe add pieces and say, hey, we're playing better than what maybe we thought we were going to do. Let's maybe try to push it a little bit. And tomorrow is also a what are we doing here? What are we doing here Wednesday? That's where you go, sports story, a narrative that's out there. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing here? Maybe, for example, you want to go to LeBron and say, LeBron, what are we doing here? Philly? Why Philly? I'm just throwing that out as an example. Okay, so that is your homework assignment for tomorrow's program, since it's going to be Wednesday. A reminder, it is another late game, though, tonight for the Brewers, 8:45 first pitch. You can listen to the game on the radio dials, 105.1 FM and 790 AM. Pre-game will start about 8:10. Before that, you got the Express back at Carson Park tonight. So if you want to head down to watch some Express baseball, 6:35 first pitch, your first place Eau Claire Express. We've got another Tailgate Thursday coming up this Thursday, and it looks like Fan Deck tickets for that night are already sold out. So let's continue to pack Carson Park, okay? GA's still available. GA's, general admission tickets, still available. So let's pack Carson Park for these final home games here. You got a good amount to go to here, but let's pack it. Let's make it a home field advantage as the Express continue down the path of winning this second half division and setting up for a potential playoff matchup, as Pete Knutson was telling us last hour, could be Eau Claire versus La Crosse in the first round of the playoffs. Could be. So if you missed that conversation with Pete, it is up on the Eau Claire Express All Aboard podcast, so you can check it out over there. We're just a couple minutes away from the new episode of the Man Cave podcast dropping. Played a little bit of a teaser clip at the beginning of this hour where chatted with new Eau Claire North men's head basketball coach Mike Cooper. So that the video will be dropping in like 3 minutes, and the audio version also dropping. Video on YouTube, audio wherever you get your podcasts, or on our website at sportstalk1051.com. So tomorrow, hopefully, we're talking about a potential series win for the Brewers. Hopefully, we're talking about a win tonight and then looking ahead to a series win for the Brewers. We'll talk more Packers as they will open up training camp, first practice tomorrow. Anybody heading down? Anybody heading over to Green Bay at any point this training camp season? But we'll get to see the players out on the field for the first time. Daily pressers with Matt LaFleur and Brian Gutekunst. So it is definitely a football season coming your way here sooner rather than later. So it's here for all of you that have been waiting a long time. I have not seen it opened up. I'm anxious, excited to read this piece. Say what you want about Mike McCarthy and his Packers tenure, but there's a new piece on The Athletic about Mike McCarthy coming home to Pittsburgh. On its title, Mike McCarthy came home to Pittsburgh, his family, and the grief he can't escape, and talking about the passing of his brother. So I can't wait to dive into this. Say what you want about Mike McCarthy and, tenure with Green Bay. I know it ended not on a good note, but I'm rooting for Pittsburgh if it doesn't affect Green Bay. And I think it's a cool story for Mike McCarthy to be able to return home to wrap up his NFL career coaching his childhood team. Not a lot of people get to be in that position. So I think it's a cool thing. So I'm going to have to dive into that here after this. I will return your texts if you want to join that fantasy football league. So look for a text with the link to sign up for more info. Okay, so that should be coming here in the next few days. More info that just getting a gauge of how many people would be interested in joining that fantasy football league. All right, that's going to do it for us. We're already making a turn on the week tomorrow. Same place, same time, the TDS Sports Talk Studios, 6 a.m. Chat with you all then.